Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
There have been a lot of people wrong many times during the same series in that Denver-Minnesota series, Stugotz. And it's one of the reasons that I told you I was so excited for how interesting that series was going to be. If you were not watching last night what happened between Denver and Minnesota, and both of those teams are championship worthy. But what's about to happen to Anthony Edwards if he loses is we're going to spend a lot of time talking about him not having enough help. Mm-hmm. You want me to power through it?
Yeah. Yep. He has plenty of help, by the way. I don't want to hear about it.
Well, he doesn't. He's got 2 All-Stars. A Defensive Player of the Year is one of those All-Stars, and he's got the 6th Man of the Year. But he and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do not have exactly what Jokic has, which is a number 2 that he's making feel like an eternal number 2 because, like Shaq, he can do that for Kobe and for Dwayne and for, what does Tony call Anthony Hardaway? Anfrini Hardaway?
I don't think Kobe views himself as a number 2. I don't think Kobe viewed himself, as a number 2 ever. Not for a single day, even while playing with Shaq.
Fine, but Shaq made everyone who was his number 2 during his time, he made them into eternal greats, the way Michael Jordan helped make Scottie Pippen an eternal great so that we wouldn't do what we're about to do for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards in their youth, is protect them by saying they don't have enough help. Anthony Edwards wasn't great last night, but Jokic put up what is an all-time performance, and it's a ho-hum performance for him.
Jokic Stat of the day, breaking records so often that we're all bored, so blasé. Jokic Stat of the day. You know how they say you can get too much of a good thing? Well, what if they're right? And not that you care, but here's another boring-ass amazing thing that Nikola Jokic did recently. It's the boring Jokic Stat of the day on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
There was a piece of sports art in that game where Kevin Harlan is providing the accents and the framing on the end of that game. Denver's up 103-92, and Jokic is at the three-point line, and Gobert has come out to meet him. And I want to get into the basketball dorkiness of what it is Denver is doing there to Gobert, because you eliminate the number 1 defense in the league when you pull Gobert out like that and allow him to not be a rim protector anymore. He ceases to be the defensive player of the year. But the way Harlan framed what Jokic did, where he's at the top of the key and Harlan goes in very slow. The crowd noise supports it. It was really, really beautiful if you appreciate sports excellence. All of it, the broadcasting of it, the noise in a stadium. Harlan described it as Jokic dancing with Gobert because they're at the top of the key, and then Jokic makes the 3 to finish the game with 3 minutes left. And Harlan just screams, he's putting together a masterpiece.
It was great.
Because he goes for 40 points, Stugotz, with no turnovers.
Crazy.
Like, with no turnovers. Are you kidding me? How do you play the defensive player of the year? The 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, guy who's going to make the Hall of Fame because of his defense, and you have no turnovers. You go 8 for 9 on him. And Murray told a story the other day that informs some of what you're watching in that series. Murray said that earlier in his career, Jokic was playing against Gobert late in a game. And Gobert is waving off the help that's coming over to help him on Jokic. He's waving it off. And Jokic, who hasn't shown us much personality, says to Gobert, according to Murray, brother, I have 47.
I love that.
What are you doing waving off the help you clearly need? And I know we do this thing where we rip everybody, but I think Anthony Edwards has what needs to be the correct analysis. This is the guy people are putting in a class with young Michael Jordan, and he's got the correct analysis after the game.
I just laugh. That's all I can do. I mean, I can't be mad because he good, man. I think I said that after game 1 when we won, and game 2, like he the MVP, he's the best player in the NBA, and he showed it the last 3 games in a row. Yeah, tonight he was special tonight. I got to give him his flowers. It was. I mean, I don't know what we were supposed to do. He was that guy.
Minnesota really missed Mike Conley last night as well. So when we talk about the injuries all throughout the playoffs, that's where Anthony Edwards was really struggling most, is there was no other shot creator on the floor for them. They were playing without a point guard. And so Denver defensively was just blitzing Anthony Edwards nonstop, forcing the ball out of his hand. Karl Anthony Towns actually had a very good game, but they had nothing else from there.
But you have to marvel at his efficiency, Jokic, because Jalen Brunson had 44 points on 35 shots last night. Jokic had 40 points on 22 shots last night. He was 15 of 22. I mean, my goodness.
The thing that he is, I don't know what else you can say other by way of compliment or tribute than Anthony Edwards saying, yeah, I just have to laugh because that's the best player in our league and there's nothing you can do about it and I don't know what to do and I'm just going to laugh. And they're going to go home, and I hope they win there because I want to see a champion tested in a Game 7. But if you like the basketball nerdiness, and Jeremy, I know you do, when you go brush screens, inverted ball screens for a center, like like they're using him in a way. You realize Wembanyama is going to do all this into the game. Jokic is preparing us for the unstoppability of Wembanyama when the game gets ruined. We're not yet at the game being ruined, but the cement mixer can do it. And next up is the pogo stick 7'4" guy who's going to get better. And they're going to create all sorts of things offensively for these people that make it possible to have a 40-point game with no turnovers. You realize that would have been the stat line if Jokic was playing against us, right? It would have been more points, but it would have been similar in terms of no turnovers, and you can't do anything about it.
He turns Rudy Gobert into an ineffective defender when that guy's been a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and it's in part because you have Jamal Crawford last night referring to him as Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain, all in the span of like 5 different possessions.
Left out Michael, though.
Let's talk about something here, though, Stugotz, as it relates to what the big man has been in that sport, because I see that Shaquille O'Neal is now telling TMZ that he is selling gummies, and I want to ask you...
What isn't he selling?
What?
Well, this is what I wanted to ask you guys, because when I think of selling yourself, I think of Kevin Hart, I think of Kiss, the rock band, and I wanted to ask you in sports, who finishes in second place to putting themselves out there and selling every last thing to Shaquille O'Neal? And the reason I asked the question is because throughout my history, Stugotz, back when I wrote a magazine cover story on Shaquille O'Neal, I was informed by ESPN, I'd never known this before, that Shaquille O'Neal doesn't sell on magazine covers because the big man doesn't sell on magazine covers. And it was then later explained to me when I started doing some of the research that America doesn't have a connection point with the big man. So when I ask you this question, who's the second most popular big man ever Is it Bill Walton? Like just a person who gets to be likable and gets to be an everyman and gets to be a commercial spokesman for everything, because the big man generally isn't like that way. And in the cases of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for example, it can be so awkward to grow up tall as a kid that you can become someone who just doesn't like people very much.
He's a giant that everybody loves.
But he's 6'6" in this sport.
That's a giant, yeah.
Yeah, but in this sport, 6'6" is not a giant.
Boban.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Boban.
We love him.
He's gotten more commercial appeal than
How
almost
good he is.
any other. Well, that for sure. But then that's a good nomination.
It's a great one.
Anyone
yes.
of that size. But it's also with him, as it was with sort of Manute Bol or Sean Bradley. It's sort of, you get to make fun of him, right? He's a crowd favorite. I'm talking about big man who's also dominant, and then you love him even though he's ruining your sport because you can't stop him. He's too big, and people think he's been given a gift in the crib even though he was the 41st pick in the draft. Like, they think he's been given a DNA gift that makes him preternaturally gifted in this regard, and obviously it helps, but as John Amici likes to say, there are a lot of 6'10" people working at Subway.
Taco Fall.
Not a bad one.
No,
People love
Go
Taco
Knicks.
Fall.
but also
A
not
novelty.
but not excellent. Yeah, I'm not talking about the novelty. I'm talking about somebody who dominates. No, look, it's hard to do. You're
He's
not
a
gonna,
nice guy.
He is. You're going to have a hard time finding a second place for someone who's dominated a sport, sort of wrecks it with his size, and you just sort of think it's unfair.
Did Wilt do a lot of commercials in his time? Like when he was at the height of Wilt Chamberlain, was he doing a lot of stuff? I don't know. I'm
guessing.
He seems like a guy that would be.
I'm guessing that,
Right.
yes, that Wilt Chamberlain got plenty.
Yao Ming.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's
How about
excellent.
Wemby? Is this in the future of Wemby? If he's not having his guards punch Britney Spears?
It seems to be
Allegedly.
in his wheelhouse, and especially if he's got the Nike marketing. Can you guys get for me, please, the Nike commercial campaign on Wembanyama so I could just show people? Because this is a big part of it, Stugotz. I miss the excellence of the sports commercial. I miss the excellence of the commercial in general. I tend to be pretty disappointed even when the Super Bowl arrives because I want things that are more clever and more creative. And ESPN spoiled me because with Wyman Kennedy, they got so good at the marketing of sports that they were doing exactly what Nike was doing. And Nike does this for Wembanyama, and this is going to help a great deal because I will remind you that Michael Jordan, while not terribly interesting in front of microphones, got framed the mythology by Spike Lee and Nike in a way that really served him, even though he wasn't giving them words to help.
274 field goals, 128 three-pointers, 254 blocks. No player in league history has averaged 20 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal, and 1 3 per game before.
Did I see that right? I believe aliens are real and hoop among us.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, Goosies.
I mean, do something first.
Sounded like he did something.
It did sound like everything in that commercial was saying the facts that would allow someone to surmise that he had done something, except for America's foremost critic right here.
Oh, he did something. He went 22-60. I mean, come on, please. Have a winning season. Just once.
He has no help.
Yeah, it's a team issue.
I don't care.
You talk about a gift in the crib, Dan. 1 out of 6 people who reach 7 feet tall are in the NBA.
Wow.
1 out of 6. So if you just grow to be 7 feet, you're in the NBA. So there really is a gift in the crib. If you are talking about just being born tall, you're going to end up there.
It certainly helps, but what you just said to me is that 5 out of 6 aren't. So there are people
Different in the population under 7 feet, though, Dan. I
Agreed.
imagine that's
Yes.
a lot bigger percentage.
Thank
It
you.
really stinks for those who don't make it, who grow to 7
God,
feet
what a
tall and don't make it.
nightmare.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to feel like a giant loser, right?
Because you're always
Literally.
asked if you play basketball
course
when
you
you're
are.
that height. No,
No.
I'm an accountant.
It is problematic when you want to shower in hotels. It's hard if you want to sleep in a normal human bed. I don't know how many of you. How do you guys feel about your feet hanging off of a bed while you're sleeping? Do any of you do that? At Le Batard Show, Juju, do any of you sleep with your feet off the bed?
Do you know how small the bed would have to be for my feet to be hanging off of them?
That's a funny visual.
He's sleeping in a dollhouse.
I do this thing with my feet where I flap up because I like the cover. I don't want my feet sticking out of the covers, so I like lift my legs up so the covers fall underneath my feet and flap it down. So it's a little cocoon. I create a little cocoon at my feet so my feet can't get out.
Cute.
Every night.
Some of my favorite videos on TikTok and YouTube are just tall people's perspective. Like there's this one super tall guy that just films what he sees at the grocery store, and you see like the top of the like shopping aisles, and you're like, oh my God, I had no idea it looked like that up there.
How annoying do you think you guys would find it if every time you bathed and showered, you couldn't get under the nozzle? That the nozzle in a hotel wasn't where you needed it to be to put it over your head. I've told you before, one of those commercials that Shaq does for that insurance he doesn't use, he is singing over the curtains and the nozzle is around his neck, and I don't think it's a joke. I think that's just how that shower looked.
Are you talking about the general?
Whichever insurance he's marketing for that he doesn't, that we have accused him of not using. Billy, I do want to talk to you about what you brought up correctly, which is, what does Shaq not sell?
I don't even mean that it's an insult. Like, I don't understand why people think selling out is a bad thing. I'm for sale. Sales, Feldman, I'm here.
Yep.
Want to give me some money to promote some stuff? I'm open to it.
My brother used to say that all the time because people accused him of being an art sellout, and he's like, really? Do you know how hard this is to do? To make money, to get out of bed and make something that people want to buy? Okay. You can go ahead and criticize me for selling too much. I'll take that as a criticism.
I think my favorite sellout quote comes from Pitbull, and like I'm paraphrasing it, where he said something along the lines of, I can't feed my kids with Grammys.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can you feed your kids with Grammys? Because I think you can, actually. If you win Grammys, I think you can. But point taken on selling out. But Kevin Hart, I believe, or I may have this confused with Kiss, one of them has their face on underwear. Maybe both of them. And I don't know what is too far for you guys, but these are the three I think of. Do you guys have a fourth in terms of somebody who will say yes to anything and will sell whatever it is that your product is, and it doesn't seem to push off sponsors in any way?
I sold the Dove Healer.
So you're nominating yourself for fourth place?
I would sell anything, Dan.
It feels like Peyton Manning is heading in that direction.
Oh, that's a good
He's on
one.
a lot of stuff.
Yep.
I have something to tell you, Stu. So when we went to the SEC championship game, Bush's Baked Beans did like a giveaway thing, and we won a prize, and we were going to send it to Stu, and they never delivered it, and it was a can opener that every time you used it had Peyton Manning's voice, and it was called Peyton Canning, and that was supposed to be for you.
Oh, my God.
But they never sent it to us.
I think
they lied.
You sent me a text saying I have a great gift being sent to the studio for you, and I've been searching for it every single day. That was it?
Bush's Baked Beans did not give it. And the thing is I'm terrible when I buy gifts for people. I immediately tell them. So the fact that it took me till now to tell you was a huge win.
We need to get that. We need to shame the Peyton Canning people into sending what...
Bush's Baked Beans. Did you meet Duke the dog?
I did. I got a picture with him.
Wow.
The thing in my parents' house that always makes me laugh is when I hear in the other room my father with a bottle opener opening something up, and then I hear Boog Shambi's 1997
I have that
home run call of, let me tell people what it is before you tell them that you have
so
it.
excited.
Of Alex Gonzalez's home run in 1990. Was it 1997 or 2003?
2003, yeah.
2003, Alex Gonzalez says, oh, I'm of that age now. When I conflate...
You're mixing up World Series?
Yeah, when I conflate eras and I put 1997 players on the 2003 team.
Renteria 97, Gonzalez 2003.
Thank you,
You got it.
Stugotz.
Yeah.
But my father in the other room, I'll hear the crack and the fizz, and then the voice of Boog Shambi taking me to 21 years ago. Boog Shambi featured on the latest edition of Pablo Torre Finds Out.
This is a bottle opener that
Yes.
has this call just automated to
Yes.
play. Where can I get one?
Billy, you have one, don't you?
I lied.
Oh, but you have a collection of Marlins
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can go
memorabilia.
through my Marlins closet if you want and see what treasures I have that you can have. I thought one day that having, like, multiples of these things would, like, have some value, and I realized, oh, only I care about this, and I just have a bunch of junk.
At one point, it's not junk. We're doing a documentary with some people who have baseball card collections, and it will not be junk for your daughter, and it will not be junk off in the future. Okay.
I don't know if my daughter wants a Ross Gloat anything.
Billy, if I took care of the baseball cards I had as a kid, oh my God, how much money I would have. Seriously. I mean, I have a lot already. But
I still have an ongoing feud with my childhood neighbors from behind. I don't even know who they are, where I could find them. I assume they're in prison with what they did to me, but that's fine. They went and they took my baseball card, like little whatever it is, like folder, because you used to have a folder with baseball cards. And you had the slots you'd put the baseball cards in, right? So they're like, let's trade baseball cards. And I was like, cool. And they're like, pass us your book of baseball cards, and then like we'll see what we like, because there's a fence between our yard and their yard. And there was like a fence there. So I passed them my like folder, my binder with all my baseball cards in it. And then I had some of these like MVP, like hologram Topps cards. And then I noticed when my folder came back, I didn't have any of those cards left in my folder. And they gave me just some crap cards. So I hope they're in prison or in hell.
Wow, very strong.
Stealing cards from me as a young child. It taught me to never trust. So I guess I did learn a valuable lesson that day.
How much do you think I can get for an Andy Fox bobblehead?
I want to ask the question of the group before Billy answers this, because I found something the other day, and right now it is in my home in a place, and I keep forgetting to bring it and ask Billy off air if he wants it, but I'm just going to ask the group. I have a small 1993 baseball writer's card from the first original Marlins season that has Marlins stuff on it and is obviously something that is old and also represents symbolically I had that taken away by the Hall of Fame because of what I did with my vote whenever it is that I did that, and I wondered if Billy would want it. Do you guys think that that is something that Billy, a junk collector, a bit of a hoarder, somebody who has memorabilia, somebody who has...
Would you say someone who... Hold on a second.
Forget when
Would
I said...
you say someone who oversees a museum, would you call them a hoarder? Because they're just collecting old crap.
Well, if that person had it all in the trunk of their car, yes.
I have a closet. It's in a closet.
But unfair to you to call you a general hoarder, a memorabilia hoarder, somebody...
Collector, connoisseur.
Okay. Do you guys think that this is something Billy would want? Yes or no question?
Sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't an option, Roy.
Yes, a yes or no question.
I mean, sure is a connotation of yes.
Yes or no.
It's an undercutting yes.
I mean, I didn't say maybe.
It's like yeah, sorta.
There were two options, though. I mean,
Billy, would you want it? I'm not going to test the rest of
I
the
don't
room
understand
on
what it is. It's
You know
just
where it's going
a
now.
paper that says that you're a writer?
It's not a paper. It's a baseball. It's one of, I don't know how many writers there are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know whether they've got 800 voters, 900 voters a year. It's it's just membership into the club that gets to vote in the Hall of Fame. I didn't know whether you'd want it or not.
So
I was going to
what
bring it in and ask you.
You're doing is offering to donate to the collection I curate. We'll accept your donation. We'll put a little plaque next to it in the museum that opens up one day.
wasn't an option.
By the way, Ryan Reynolds also a whore. Most of them are his own products,
That's a
but
good one.
he's in commercials for everything.
They're all his own products. They're all.
I
things
think he owns a
has.
piece of like a lot of the things that he.
Clooney led the way for all these guys on that. Clooney decided to put his name on things and then gives his friends suitcases full of cash because he makes so much money on the side.
Ryan Reynolds has what? Cell phone company and alcohol. He's now turned Rob McElhaney into a commercial person. Like, how did you do that? The guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? It's amazing what Ryan Reynolds has done with that.
No more celebrity alcohol brands. We're good. We've had enough. Invest in something else.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatard Show. No more celebrity alcohol brands, yes or no?
It's Kiss on the underwear.
It's not Kevin Hart?
No.
Kevin Hart's face is not on underwear?
I did Google Kevin Hart underwear, but that's not what I got.
Okay. I may end up being wrong on this, Stugotz, because I really have enjoyed that OKC team, and you have them being eliminated in this round when they got down 2-1. But it's the youngest team in the league. It's one of the youngest teams ever. But I do feel like we're headed to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really not actually having enough help, because he doesn't even have a Karl Anthony Towns. Like Holmgren may become that at some point. But you guys helped me with this, because when I saw the shot chart on him beating Dallas, I was like, holy shit, that's more mid-range than DeMar DeRozan. That's like all mid-range stuff, and he's great at the mid-range stuff. But it did make me wonder, has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander replaced DeMar DeRozan as the king of the mid-range? Because that team is really good, but I think the winner of Minnesota and Denver is the one that's going to end up winning the West and then ending up playing against Boston, because you saw with Anthony Edwards right now, you do need a specific kind of help when you run up against these championship-level defenses and you don't have a second place to put the basketball. In fact, I would say, Stugotz, that given what Jimmy Butler did to Karl Anthony Towns' reputation, where what he stained him with is you're soft. You and Wiggins are soft. Wiggins won a championship since. Karl Anthony Towns is shooting 50 times in the All-Star game, but do you trust him? Game 7 in Denver, Anthony Edwards needs some help. Do you trust Karl Anthony Towns? Because Karl Anthony Towns is more talented as an offensive player than anyone OKC has, not named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Towns had a good game last night. I mean, he was 10 of 19 from the field.
Towns is excellent. Yes. Towns 10 years ago. Towns 30 years ago would have been Michael Jordan.
Easy.
Towns 30 years ago, if wherever it is that you put the place on, athletes are much better today than they were during a different time. Someone who plays like Karl Anthony Towns would have been in the post and only in the post, and would have never been allowed to either dribble or go near the three-point line.
And now in today's game, he's just a poor man's Jokic. I feel bad for him. He would be like a perennial all-star in any other
Didn't
era.
he win the three-point competition?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest shooting big men of all time. Like, he would have been Dirk, even if he just played when Dirk was around, because he's that talented. And yet, here we are, constantly going, do you trust him?
Soft. No, but that's what he's, right? That's what he's going to get. This is not going to fall on Edwards. He's not going to have a lot of games like yesterday's. Like, that's not going to happen.
Well, it's his second time he's had that game in the last 3, so... Dan, that's why the comparisons to Michael Jordan are unfair to Anthony Edwards. You set this expectation for this guy. He's not. There's never going to be another Michael Jordan. Everyone just stop it.
But
okay?
Okay,
it's not fair to him.
Okay, and what's not fair to us is you continually giving takes that can't be disproven for 9 years. Like that.
What do you mean?
This is your wheelhouse right here. The idea
MJ?
that you do this great thing where you give an opinion that cannot, like we got you with Alex Smith and Mahomes. Because thankfully Mahomes got great within 2 or 3 years. But usually we can't keep track of you giving takes that cannot be disputed until Anthony Edwards turns 33.
That's the game, Dano.
The thing with Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan, though, isn't Denver right now sort of like what the bad boy Pistons were to Michael Jordan? Like, he went up against him. He lost early in his career. They needed to sort of revamp the roster a little bit. He eventually gets past this really great team, and he becomes Michael Jordan.
But you have Minnesota being here every year if that's the case. The West is so good and getting better so quickly, I'm not certain Minnesota is going to be here every single year. I'm not.
Dan, I'm distracted because we talked about this last week, and I can't help but wonder if you're wearing a shirt under your hoodie.
I'm not.
Wow.
Attaboy.
Wow. I'm putting that on the board. Stugotz says that he doesn't wear a shirt under his hoodie. It turned into this giant debate. We were all kind of confused about it, but I haven't stopped wondering if you're wearing a shirt under that. Not in an inappropriate way.
If there's
just
a place,
in terms of record keeping.
If there's a place to do that, it'd be in South Florida, right? Of
course,
it's the only place in
this
America
studio
where there's a sweater without shirts. South Florida.
Well, I hesitated to put this on at all because we're headed toward 98 and 99 degrees here this week.
And the air was on the fritz earlier this week.
But I couldn't have layers today, and I had to run out of the house in a hurry and just throw something on, and so this is what I chose. You can't go layers in South Florida. When it's about to approach. The low today was 80, and it's about to approach 98 and 99.
Looks good. It's a good-looking hoodie.
Thank you. Lucy, that is leboart.com if you want any of the stuff that my brother
Is it comfy? You don't
made.
need a shirt.
Yeah,
It's comfortable.
It is very comfortable.
Shirt
Still
necessary.
selling, huh? I love him.
You got me thinking about OKC and what they need. Like, don't they need, like, do they have a veteran? Who's, like, the old guy on OKC? Is it all just young guys? Because I'm thinking, if they don't have a vet, if they need to add a piece, Stu, follow me here.
Yeah.
Durant back in OKC.
No, I'm thinking LeBron. Like, he's already praised their
Wow.
GM. He loves that team. I'm thinking if there's a team in the Western Conference LeBron should go to, and he shouldn't, by the way. He should go to the East, but I'm thinking it might be OKC.
Their vet right now is Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what OKC needs. They got to bring someone in. Not someone to steal the shine, and I guess Durant would. Durant would kind of steal the shine, so it can't be Durant. Maybe Paul George? I don't know.
Did you guys see Kendrick Perkins? Perk was saying that Kevin Durant, good fit in Miami. What are we hearing about this?
Every year we've heard that for
I
like
know.
10 years.
We heard that about Jimmy, too. Jimmy ended up here eventually. Kyle Lowry, too, and then once he got here, everybody hated him.
Okay, maybe I don't need to explain this to our group or the audience, but OKC as an entity, this is one of the things that will make Sam Presti an executive for all times. The fact that they could kidnap young people and make them live in Oklahoma City for 7 and 8 years without free agency or an ability to get away because they can give them more money is one of the most unfair and ruthless things in the NBA. And you thinking that LeBron James would use his power? He'll choose Akron because it's his hometown. Will use his power not to work in LA or Miami, but to work in OKC, or that maybe Durant because he's going back to a place he's already been. But people who get out of OKC generally don't go back.
What if they draft Bronny? Think about it.
I went to Oklahoma City a year ago for the softball World Series, and I had the same Uber driver 3 separate times while I was there.
It's small.
Oh, no.
Eventually, we were like, "Hey, Mark, how's it going?" Like, he just kept showing up.
That is, you have to get the young players early before they've seen the world, because once they travel, they all realize, wait a minute, I don't want to live here. And Presti shows up. You got a 7-year deal. You're not going anywhere. I've got so many draft picks. Do you understand how I've built this thing? I could lose Paul George, and I will just replenish forever. Poor Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
He's stuck.
He was traded from Los Angeles.
He's going to get rich there. He's gotten rich there, and he's going to want soon to get out of there, and Presti's not going to let him. OKC is Stairway to Heaven. Or no, I'm sorry, Hotel California. I got the wrong one.
Wow.
Hotel California. You can never leave. You're not allowed to leave. You just sort of get stuck there. Because if you think LeBron would choose that,
I mean, he's choosing winning championships. That's what should be, and his son, that's what should be what's important to LeBron James at this stage of his career. It's why I say OKC. It's why I say the Knicks. It's why I say the Celtics. If they don't get it done this year, that's where LeBron should go.
I'm guessing
trying to help him out.
I'm guessing that LeBron is thinking to himself that if there are 9 teams a piece away, he can be that piece at 9 places that aren't OKC.
Perhaps.
Well, according to Greg Cody, he's still in his prime, so he can go anywhere.
I mean, the fact that LeBron, at the age of 40, is dictating who the next Lakers coach is going to be, doing this for his son, getting Coach K out of retirement to be some sort of guy that presides over J.J. Redick. It's amazing. The leverage that man has over the NBA's most popular and best organization is insane. He's 40 years old. 40 years old. And he still has this kind of leverage. That's incredible.
Well, you say it's incredible, and it is. I will say that it's what he has been for 15 years.
I know.
And it's why.
But that he's still here.
No, but he revolutionized the power a player can have. People are tired of hearing me talk about that here, but it's been fascinating to watch, and he still uses that leverage now. But you mentioned J.J. Redick, and I wanted to talk about the back and forth between J.J. Redick and Doc Rivers, because J.J. Redick may indeed become the coach of the Lakers, go straight to the front of the line. And you and I were having the discussion in 2010. Stugotz and I were saying, if you could get LeBron James in his prime at 25, would you be okay if he installed Maverick Carter as the coach? And we agreed, yes, that's fine.
Yep.
Maverick Carter can be the coach. I'll get a whole bunch of good assists, and I'll figure it out after that. But if he wants to run the team, I will let him run the team because I will be getting that player at 25 years old. So if LeBron James can indeed get both his son and the coach in Los Angeles.
And Coach K.
Well, what are you doing now?
There's a report that Coach K would come.
He's helping the Lakers pick their new coach.
Yeah.
He's a consultant.
I wonder who he's going to pick.
Chris Quinn got an interview.
Could you imagine having that much power as LeBron? We're like, okay, we have our coach already picked out.
That's what I'm saying.
Coach K, I always wanted to play for you. We did a Team USA, whatever, but you stayed at Duke, then you retired. Here's a little paycheck as a consultant, even though we know exactly who we're going to hire already. You just do the work. You walk around. Oh, let me interview this person, that person. Oh, wow, JJ, perfect fit. Let's hire him. $200,000, please.
That's what you think consulting work is?
Well, when you're Coach K, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, for an NBA team.
I'd say it's higher.
Is that not what consulting work is? Let me tell you what consulting work is, okay? I have my finger on consulting work because that is my future dream job. This is what you do. You go to a place, and the place is like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix these problems. And then you're like, okay, here's how you fix the problems. You want to do it? And they're like, And you're like, okay, perfect. Pay me, please. And then they pay you, and then that's it. And then they listen to you or they don't. It doesn't matter. You just go on to someone else's problems.
I think Meadowlark Media should hire you as a consultant.
Oh,
you
I'm
could
down.
feel free to do that here. Well, I felt like we were doing that already, and you're not participating.
As a consultant?
Yeah, I feel like you should be a consultant to everything we do here, as opposed to someone who actively tries to destroy.
But as I said, no one listens to me,
Yeah,
so.
well, but
I have that part of the consulting down.
you try to actively destroy the job from the inside. That's not a
Got to
consultant.
break it down to build it back
No,
up.
It's an inside job. What happens around here is consistently an inside job.
That's a good Inside Man was a good movie. Not that we're talking about that, but wow, one of my favorite Denzel movies.
You're the opposite. Put it on the poll. Is Inside Man one of your favorite Denzel movies?
Well, it is. I just told you.
No, not you. I said put it on the
Asking the
poll.
audience,
I'm asking America.
What is the opposite of a consultant?
It's him.
Oh, it's not.
It is. It is you. Put it on the poll. Is Billy
I
Gill?
find all these problems. I'm at the center of them.
You're the causer of the problem. I really do think that it would be Billy's anarchist dream for Meadowlark to pay him as a consultant, and then at the end of his findings, he comes to me with a report, and he says with a giant smile on his face, Dan, your problems throughout your company, they're all me. I've discovered the problem. They are all me.
But the good news, I have the solution.
Promote me.
No one better equipped to solve the Billy problem than Billy.
Sam Morrell is with us. This is early for him. He's a late night comic. He lives a big, loud life at night, and he's got more of those T-shirts than any human being I know. There it is, the Isaiah Hartenstein Die Hard T-shirt. Look at him. He's feeling himself today. I was surprised you weren't at the game yesterday. I should tell the people, he's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's the commissioner of fandom. He's got shows coming up in Lexington, in Southern California, in Atlantic City, Rochester. He'll be in Miami. And same time tomorrow is his Netflix special. What happened? I thought for sure you would be there soaring behind your team last night.
If there's a game 7, I'll be there, man. I get too nervous, man. I'm not fun to watch these games with. I'm panicking. I'm a wreck. Thank God they blew that one out in the second half. But yeah, I'm not fun to watch these with. I don't want to be there.
Do you want a game 7?
Of course not. I said if there is one, I'll be there, and I'll definitely be there in the next round. But I was pretty nervous yesterday. I got to be honest.
Sam, you haven't been nervous throughout this. You've told me at every turn that you think you can beat Boston. What happened?
Well, I forgot that Jalen Brunson is like King Henry V, and he doesn't need to have his full force. He can be outnumbered, and he can still have a depleted army and win the war.
Mm-hmm. Sam, I thought the same thing. After Game 3, they squandered an opportunity, Game 3, to win that game on the road, go up 3-0. It came back 2-2. I was very nervous headed into last night.
You thought the same thing, that Jalen Brunson was like King Henry?
Well, that too, yes. But I was nervous. Knicks fans were nervous last night, you know?
We were nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that Siakam finally started to play well with the absence of OG Anunoby. OG was shutting his ass down. OG is so essential. I mean, we're down a lot of players right now. This is nerve-wracking for us. I think we're clearly the better team. I think even if you're a reasonable Pacers fan, you realize the Knicks are the better team. We're playing down 4 key players. It's crazy.
So that's what your answer would be, right? When I ask you, well, how did your confidence become something so shaky that in the second round it could be tested by a 6 seed? It's just the injuries, right?
Just the injuries, of course. I think losing OG Anunoby was a big blow because we had to play, and kudos Tibbs for adjusting. He went with the small ball lineup, and it worked out starting Deuce yesterday. So I liked it. And Precious gave us great minutes. And same shout out to Alec Burks for being, his number was called. I know a lot of Knicks fans were nervous with Alec Burks.
Not me.
He's been balling, dude.
Yep. I told Dan that guy can give you 20 points on any given night, and he's done it. He's done it twice. I mean, Dan, your thoughts? Apologize to Alec Burks.
He hadn't given you 20 points since February.
19 a game the last 2.
The shirt. Take me, for the audio audience, Sam, just take me on a tour of the shirt you're presently wearing.
Isaiah Hardenstein, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, I've been a big Hardenstein supporter for a long time. Knicks fans, we believe in our players, and we don't like when major media people trash them. And that only made me a bigger Hardenstein fan, seeing how he didn't become shaken. He became powerful. He became a monster on the glass, and you saw it last night. His defense he's been the anchor for us. He's been amazing. And 12 offensive boards last night. This guy is we need him next year. I hope he stays a Knick. He's been incredible.
What'd you think of the Pacers coming out thinking they're a bunch of tough guys at the Mecca last night? Huh? Got a little chippy there, Sam.
I mean, Dante just made me think of like Jamie Kennedy and Malibu's Most Wanted, but like tough. You know what I mean? Like, I love that kid. I think he's like, he's just a badass. I love him. He's, yeah, man. It was a mix between that and like Rabbit and 8 Mile. Like this dude I believe in Dante. I think he's got that like 90s Knicks kind of edge to him. So does Josh Hart. We're a lot of tough players. And look, when Pacers fans are complaining, like Knicks fans, you want a tough series, but you complain about fouls. I don't care if it's physical. You just got to blow the whistle. It's hilarious that I saw Bill Simmons post like, oh, the Knicks and Scott Foster. The Pacers were getting every call in the first half. It was comical, I thought. And they were getting every call in Game 3. Game 4 didn't matter because they beat our ass. But Game 3 and Game 5, Game 3, they gave them one back for what they thought they gave us in Game 1. And then last night, they were getting every whistle. We just happened to outplay them.
Now we do it.
I'm curious how it is that you're too nervous for a Game 5, but you'll be there for a Game 7.
Because it's a must win.
How do your nerves end up playing out? Did you really not go yesterday because you thought it would be too much for your anxiety and you don't like how you behave?
Well, if I don't go, I usually have people over, and I need to be alone.
So you have the people over, and they do what with you being this way? They know you well enough to know it's okay that he's screaming at the television?
Yeah, they like it. I have enough crazy people in my group that they go nuts too.
Did you ask Sam if he wanted a Game 7? No one wants a Game 7 when you're up 3-2.
It was an odd question.
Here's why I would tell you, like, maybe not fans, but if you're telling me
you want it.
Yes, I want it for a number of different reasons.
Pacers want a Game 7.
Yes. Here's my question when you say that it's odd, though, and I understand why you would say it. If you're confident in your team, if you tell me again and again that Mecca's the hardest place to play, and it's the greatest sound, and I want to remember something forever, and you're better than the other team, why not one game for everything? You get to watch it. You get to be there. You get to remember this series forever when Larry Johnson is making a 4-pointer.
I'll remember this series forever regardless. I want to end this thing in Indiana.
You will not.
Dan, Jalen Brunson got hurt. He came back in the second half. I'll remember this series forever.
Yeah, also, Dan, I didn't appreciate your tone with the Mecca's the hardest place to play. It is the hardest place to play.
Right. Yes.
And the fans are the best. Are we going to talk about Draymond's ridiculous unlikability on TNT?
Well, let's play this sound for Sam and the audience.
Why does Knicks fans think I hate the Knicks, though?
Why do they? Because you did say you didn't like New York.
No, that's a lie.
But I thought you said.
I told the truth about the team. And the truth about the team was it's a fluke.
That's why they don't like you. That's why.
But I
you're
didn't say
saying that
nothing
their
about the
good
Knicks.
season that they've had in the last whatever, you said is a fluke.
This year is what you said.
He said this year's team is a fluke.
Okay, so here's what I said.
A fluke.
I said this team, they're winning right now. And it could be, I think it's a setup like the Atlanta Hawks in 2021.
Right.
And if you remember back to maybe 2016-17, the Portland Trailblazers paid all of those guys because they had that one good year, and then they got jammed up. And I think this New York Knicks team could be a setup to get jammed up.
Is that what you're objecting to, or something else?
If you're comparing Alan Crabb and Al-Farouq Aminu to OG Anunoby and all these other guys, you're out of your mind. Knicks are a fluke. We're down 4 rotation players, including Julius Randle, an All-NBA guy. OG Anunoby, a defensive beast. You remember defense, Draymond. You used to play it before you went straight for the headlock. Remember? You want to talk about a fluke? You being in the Hall of Fame is a fluke, Draymond. If you aren't drafted the Warriors, not only are you not in the Hall of Fame, you might be in a psych ward right now, or best case playing in Europe. Steph saving your career is a fluke. No one else would be this patient with you. No other star. So maybe instead of trying to rain on our parade and the first joy we've had in years, let us enjoy it the way the rest of TNT, like Kenny Smith, is letting us enjoy it.
I love when you get pissed off.
Well, Draymond's not here. You know that, right, Sam? That was just a video.
No, he's directing.
I'm talking into the camera.
Right.
Listening.
Attaboy.
A genuine question, though, when it comes to this Knicks group, like if there are no moves made and you have this core moving forward for the next 5, 6, 7 years, this is the group. What do we think is the higher likelihood, that this group wins a championship or that they never get back to the conference finals again? Ooh. Because I kind of think it's probably the latter, given the people who were out in the East this year.
I think, first of all, if you think Trae Young has the leadership or the talent of Jalen Brunson, you don't watch basketball. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we are missing – do you not hear what I'm saying? We're missing 4 key players, and we're still doing this well. So I think you have to look at what our potential is. I think what you saw in January when Randall and OG and all the guys were just banging, we were a team that beats you up and wears you down. And we had to change our identity a little bit to compete. Luckily, Tibbs has made adjustments, and I think he's made – key adjustments, starting McBride yesterday and, having Precious come off the bench for energy. So, look, I think our ceiling is pretty damn high, and maybe we're not done making moves. That's why you stockpile first-round picks. I think there's a couple more moves Leon might make. But to act like we're a fluke and not in a great position, the best position we've been in 25 years, Draymond, I thought you were like a high IQ basketball guy. I thought that was your whole thing. I respect Draymond Green. I think he is a Hall of Fame player. But, you clearly – I don't get the anger at New York. Like, we're just enjoying our team. We're just happy. We're having a good time. Why is everyone being like, well, this is a fluke. This isn't for real. If you saw your friend in love and he was like, not a cool guy, maybe hadn't found a woman in a while, would you be like, dude, this is bullshit? No.
I might actually.
Would you let him enjoy love?
It's a fluke.
He's screaming at the camera. Draymond, would you let me enjoy love, please? I am in love. I haven't felt this way about the Knicks this century.
Jeremy asked him a question, and he was still responding to Draymond Green.
Well, this was real professional work by the professional comedian. I've seen coaches over the years say to themselves, I don't care what the questions are. I'm going to say what I want to say. He did get around to answering Jeremy's question, but he had a little more to slice off for Draymond there. He pissed you off last night. People are pissing you off, Sam.
It's a fluke.
Yeah. I mean, but I'll say this. I love when the media counts the Knicks out because I think this is a team that wants to be counted out. I think they thrive on it. I think it's fuel. When you saw Siakam, who, by the way, has looked meh. He's had a couple games, but talking to Jalen Brunson and Brunson going back, it's a long series. I love that. I love that Jalen Brunson's like, let us be the humble guys. You guys talk your Tyrese Halliburton talked a lot of in Indiana, and he can, but that's not our style. Our style is more like we're tough, we're going to play ball, and let Tyrese talk a lot of shit because he was pretty quiet last night.
Are Sam and Stugotz surprised at all that Jalen Brunson already has more playoff points than Carmelo Anthony?
I'm not personally, and no disrespect to Carmelo, but I do think that Jalen is the best Knick since the 90s. I just think I think he's had a pretty big load in his shoulders, and he's delivered. He's been incredible.
I am surprised by that because no one could see this coming. Like, no one. Like, Carmelo, yeah, that is surprising. Like, Jalen Brunson in the moment, this is great, but no one could see, at least I couldn't see, that Jalen Brunson would arrive at a place where he has more playoff points than Carmelo.
It's a fluke.
I mean, how do you not look at Jalen Brunson and just love this guy? How do you not look at the whole team and love this team? They all were guys. They remind me a little bit of Detroit in 2004. A lot of guys who people kind of gave up on, like Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, guys that kind of didn't get their due. Ben Wallace, those types of players. How do you not like this team?
Stugotz has a revised list of top 5 Knicks of all time based on yesterday's proceedings, I guess. Number 5 or OLI?
I am OLI. Yeah, I have a ton of them.
All right. You've got a lot of outside looking in.
Just some, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Dave DeBusschere. Bill Bradley. Earl the Pearl. Walt Clyde Frazier. Patrick Ewing. Nicotine. Josh Hart. Jalen Brunson.
You're just naming Knicks?
Number 5.
Nicotine has fallen out of the top 5?
It was number 1. That was a week ago. Today's today.
Number 5.
Alec Burks.
Number 4.
Deuce McBride.
3.
Dante DiVincenzo.
2.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
1.
The Mecca.
Sam, how do you feel about that list?
I love Isaiah Hartenstein. You know I love these guys, so I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
I think whatever it takes tampering wise, I will bring Hartenstein back. Maybe a tour of New York, something special to make him believe that this is the greatest city in the world. I hope we're able to keep him an OG. That's how I feel. So I think they're both key going forward and key to our defensive identity, which is what Knicks fans want. They want a defensive team always.
Sam, I know Brunson's been great in this series, but if the Knicks win the series MVP should go to the Mecca, right?
I think, look, it's a team game, man. And, I love what Hartenstein said about the Knicks fans, where after game 4 and the Knicks got crushed, he was like, we don't deserve the amount of support they give us if this is how we're going to play. So I think they're aware of how great the Mecca is and how great the fans are. And I thought that was like a very, very smart thing for Isaiah to say. I think Josh Hart said something similar. So they know that it's an amazing place to play. There's some other great arenas in basketball, but I don't think anything touches MSG.
It's a fluke.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Do you think the Knicks will be able to keep Hartenstein with a tour of New York?
You don't know how I do things, man. I got great restaurants lined up, whatever he needs.
It's likely going to come down to money.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was you giving the personal tour. I thought it was one of those duck tours.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a big off season. We're going to have fun. He's going to be like, how could I leave the city? Katz's Deli, this is amazing. They don't have this in Charlotte, or whoever tries to court me. I don't know. We're going to keep him. It's going to be great.
Sam, if there is indeed a Game 7 that no Knick fan wants to see, but if there is one on Sunday, I would like to come. I'd like to sit courtside with you, and I am bringing along a good friend of mine if you're interested, okay? Adam Schefter. You, Schefter, courtside at a Knicks game. How do we get it done?
But you have to, wait a minute. You have to get him to get you now 2 tickets, or does Schefter have his own ticket?
These are pricey tickets. These are not easy to get.
Listen, it's on Dan. Me, you, and Schefter. What do you think?
I think I'm going with Chrissy D on Sunday if there's a Game 7, but we'll see.
He's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's too scared and nervous to go see a Game 5. He's Sam Morrell.
You understand? There's no choice in a Game 7. Game 5, I'm like, I can't.
You have to go.
Right. I can't look at. I go nuts. But Game 7 is do or die. So there's a Game 7, but man, I'm worried. I'm worried. mostly about OG's health, because I do know we need him to make this Boston series even interesting. Because what's tough is having all these injuries in a year where I do think Boston is beatable. And we've had so much bad injury luck. Obviously, Boston's a great team, but I do think anything can happen in the playoffs, as we've seen, with your Miami Heat team beating them. Miami played a tough style basketball. And I think that this Knicks team has like a Knicks culture, and I think they could make it interesting, but it's going to be tough if we keep having these injuries.
He's the commissioner of fandom. He's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's got shows coming up in Lexington, in Southern California, Atlantic City, Rochester, and here in Miami. And I will tell you again, the Netflix special, it's excellent, as is all of his work. Same time tomorrow. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, guys. Go Knicks.
Roy, I don't know how you feel today. The Panthers had the Boston Bruins cornered. You want to end that at home. I know you've been afraid at no point during this series, but your general feeling.
Are you going to ask Roy if he wants a Game 7?
Okay, you guys are making fun of me for this, but I thought Game 7s at home are fun and the greatest thing. And
when you're losing the series,
yes,
and you force it.
Right.
If you're winning and you
right.
choke to get to Game 7, not as fun.
Rare is the team up 3-2 that wants to force a Game 7. I mean,
understood, but you guys are always telling me how confident you are and how hard it is to
right.
play in New York, and you don't have real confidence about it if you're terrified of a Game 7 and simply don't want it under any circumstances.
But you were asking, Roy, the Panthers had him cornered, had it done. You want to get it done at home. You don't want to go back to Boston. I feel like Roy is still confident. I can't believe I'm saying this.
I would love a Game 7 at home, and I don't want that series to end in Boston. I want it brought back here, and I want maximum stakes on everybody.
I would like this series to end in Boston, Dan. I mean, I would like them to go to the Eastern Conference Final and face either the Rangers or the Hurricanes, most likely the Rangers.
But you're not rattled. You're good.
I'm fine.
Really?
Yes.
My favorite part of last night's game, other than that we lost, like that part sucked, but Maurice yelling at the team to inspire, and we get a goal right after.
So 11 seconds after that tirade.
We have the video of, I think it's B-roll, where we can just see him laying into the team. There's a fan longing for him, and that's the way I look at Paul Maurice.
Longing for Paul Maurice just by watching him just coach, just be a coach.
He was just laying into the team, and I see this clip, and then the fan, oh my God, it's me. It's the way I would look at him, just longing.
And you just think that it's
sexy.
Sexy. You're claiming.
Look right here. You can see it. Look at the guy in the background. Look at the way he's looking at Maurice there. That's the way I look at him. I love him. And look, he's telling his friend. He's yelling at him.
You're just gazing at him longing.
Do we have an ISO of just the look? I love this guy.
Because his veins are in his neck bulging.
Hockey coach. I mean.
I'm afraid that the one Hall of Famer that has joined us today is snoring in the back next to Jeremy. Mike Ryan came running in today to executive produce again. He's pushed Chris out of the chair in order for all of us to celebrate the one true Hall of Famer who is here. Bernie, the Heat mascot, has arrived, and we need to vote him into the Hall of Fame. Billy has yelled and screamed at the Mascot Hall of Fame Executive Committee because he thinks it's communist.
Well, they just don't respect your vote. I mean, you can vote for Bernie. You can, I guess, you can vote for them to get into the Hall of Fame, but here's the thing. They don't care about your votes. They're just going to do whatever they want. They proved that with Billy the Marlin, and it's a sham. But I hope you guys get in. But what
do you mean, you guys? We've got Bernie is going to make the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, there's a big class. Multiple people get in every year.
Who are the others in the class, and do you think they rise to the level? We said before that Florida, the state of Florida, has never had a mascot in the Hall of Fame.
Billy the Marlin was voted in by the fans, and then the Hall of Fame didn't let him in for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk to somebody to get some questions answered. Lucy, you love mascots. You told me you were very excited to have Bernie in today.
Look, I'm looking at the Mascot Hall of Fame right now, and Little Red for Nebraska made it, and he's a freak, so I don't trust the voting.
Oh, wow. All right, let's get someone on to answer some
from the
questions.
Hall of Fame, yes.
To put them under the interrogation lights and ask them why. I want to ask him the question of Billy, if you ask for fan vote and then don't respect it, what are you doing?
Well, it's just 1/3 of the voting process. The committee gets in, and then I guess if they get in, they get votes. It's a loaded class this year. Big Al is there from the University of Alabama. The Leprechaun from Notre Dame is there. Mrs. Met is there. I wonder if Mr. Met wants Mrs. Met in the Hall of Fame or not.
Huh.
Or if Mr. Met just wants to have the Hall of Fame be Mr. Met's thing.
Wait a minute, that is loaded. You just gave two that I think.
New Jersey Devil is there. Purdue Pete. Orbit.
Purdue Pete?
Rosie Red. Talon. Jackson DeVille. Lucille.
Lucy, what is your problem with Purdue Pete?
What isn't my problem with Purdue Pete? Have you seen that freak?
Muscular.
He is like if death were a mascot. He's terrifying.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is Purdue Pete like if death were a mascot?
None of these mascots have ever been arrested. Am I right?
Sebastian is truly Miami.
Fist me.
Purdue Pete has been arrested. He got arrested like 2 years ago.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
What is
at like a McDonald's or something.
wait a
I'm
minute.
not even joking.
Wait a
For
minute.
murder?
Not for murder.
Oh.
What is the backstory, please, on Purdue Pete being arrested? Because I did not have Chris Cody getting that so immediately wrong.
Yeah.
Alleged battery and disorderly conduct at a McDonald's. I'll look more.
You know what?
I sit corrected.
Okay, you know what? All right, Purdue Pete. Do it in a game. Sebastian did it during a game. He did it during a big game. He got arrested on the road. He got arrested. Let's go. Not buying a burger, Purdue Pete.
Well, it was assault, they said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't get arrested for buying a burger. I know that. Metal Art consultant Billy Gill.
Was he in costume? I mean,
The reason that both of these mascots sitting with us deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, they invented stuff. Bernie invented the hip thrust. Oh, yeah.
Did he invent that? Please don't do that to me.
Bernie, did you invent the hip thrust?
It's very uncomfortable. Don't ever do that
I'll do it again.
No, please don't do that.
That thing, I don't have a thing.
Let Bernie do
Well,
it.
you
Let Bernie do
you
it.
do have a. You
Yeah,
have
but,
yeah.
This is awkward. And what he did, the side, like splitting his mouth thing, who else does that?
There it is.
I think that might actually be something that Sebastian the Ibis did indeed invent. I don't know if Bernie
No, he
invented.
did. Look it up.
Well, you were wrong about the arrest thing, though.
Your mascot information.
Should I do it again?
Is not exceptional.
No.
You know what? I would like, now that you've mentioned it, for you to do it the remainder of the segment.
Oh, come on, man.
We only
That's
have
what happens,
18
Chris.
minutes
Sitting
left.
next to him.
Trying to teach
Go ahead
you.
and stand up and hold the microphone to you and go ahead and do that while I get Roy's hockey analysis that makes Bernie snore. You don't have any concerns. You have said that a number of different times and ways, but I was not expecting that. I know the hardest game to get against tough teams is the desperate one that will end their season, but given the way the last 3 games looked for Florida, I was genuinely surprised by that result.
Well, the Bruins limited the Panthers' shots, especially in the first period. For the first half of this game, it was pretty much all Bruins, and the Panthers really could not control the puck. I mean, they were giving the puck away. There were 2 transition opportunities on their power play that went back for breakaways. It just wasn't very good. I mean, Carter Verhaeghe didn't have a good game. Matthew Tkachuk didn't.
The power
really
play was
disappeared.
bad. Our
Yeah, the
power play was bad. We've looked great on the power play, and last night was rough.
Give Swayman some credit, though, Roy. He was great
Yes,
last night.
he was great last night. Bob was also good, but yeah, I mean, the Panthers played a way out of that game.
Reinhart scored a goal. How about score more than 1 goal?
Yeah,
because
Sam
there
Reinhart was
was plenty of opportunities. No, Sam Reinhart was not great. There were plenty of opportunities there at the end of the game to score more goals, and Sam Reinhart is just missing them.
No, Sam Reinhart was good on both sides of the puck. So and Alexander
He
Barkov
missed
was
one
good
late. He had a
defensively.
big one, a chance late with the net
To
open.
Billy's point, he had 8 shots. I mean,
Well, let me
But
explore.
Paul Maurice screams at him and says, "Score more goals, Rhino."
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he
people
did.
People are giving Paul Maurice a lot of credit for the game before that the Panthers scored immediately after he gave some sort of pep talk. They scored immediately after, as if the guy in a suit on the sideline.
Are they required to wear suits? I've been wondering this because I don't know the rules of hockey, but they're always wearing suits. Are they required to? Because what if you could just wear a hoodie? Because it seems a lot more comfortable.
John Tortorella did not wear a suit this season in Philadelphia. I think he was the only coach that did that.
That's it. There's no rule. They all it's an unwritten rule among all of them. We're gonna wear suits even though there's not a dress code.
I guess so, because Tortorella was the only person that didn't do it this season.
But you're a hockey expert. Wouldn't you know if there were a dress code or not a
Like a
dress
uniform
code?
dress code.
A dress code for coaches.
I mean,
in the National Hockey League.
There's about to be for basketball coaches. There's going to be again, and there used to be. You're tired, Chris. You're
My
worn
legs
out.
hurt.
You're worn out. Okay, you lasted 2.5 minutes doing what Bernie does.
How I roll.
This is why Bernie's a Hall of Famer. You lasted 2.5 minutes doing what Bernie has done for decades.
I mean, he does it in small increments, though. He doesn't do it for 5 minutes
They're
straight.
not small. What I know of Bernie, nothing about that area is small.
Oh. What do you know about Bernie?
Well, I like costumes, as you know. I like costumes, as you know.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear Billy come at the expertise of Roy Bellamy because Jeremy got to watch the game with Roy Bellamy last night, and it was like a tutorial. You would not know from Roy's Twitter that you could do a lot of learning about hockey by just sitting next to Roy.
Roy's Twitter often helps me also, honestly, because it's descriptive of what's actually going on in the game. But last night was incredible for me because I was sitting next to Roy in our Meadowlark Media seats at the Panthers game, and he was just through speaking, maybe to himself, I'm not even sure he was really speaking to me, but talking about the game, I felt more locked in and understanding everything about the approach, the rules than I ever have. And I've been following, obviously, the Panthers for the last several years professionally. Roy made me feel like a more informed hockey fan.
It's why one day he will have a picture and his name on a wall there celebrating his legendary status covering the Panthers since their inception.
Right next to Bill Lindsay.
Roy's Twitter account is great. Like, if the ESPN app goes down and you can't watch the game, you have no idea what's going on, Roy will, like, tweet play-by-play of what's happening in the Panthers game. And it's all fact-based.
All right, there is a source of contention here. Let's discuss this now. I want to discuss this because
Thank you, Dan.
Yes, because Stugotz and I yesterday were having a conversation with Roy because I would argue that this team of people, our show, is mean to Roy's Twitter account.
No. Falsehoods.
Roy, is this show, yes or no? You can say sure again if you want. Yes or no, this show is mean to your Twitter account?
Sure. I mean, I'm not very happy with how people are displaying. I mean, Magic Johnson of hockey is not exactly why I would respond to my Twitter account. I mean, I'm telling you the information that you need to know in real time.
But it is very fact-based, and I would say it's probably a bit different than what Jeremy is learning sitting next to you, but he's saying that he's also learning from your Twitter account.
Most of the times when you're compared to Magic Johnson, it's a great thing.
Not in this situation.
Just not Twitter.
No.
The only spot, really.
I've given my opinion during the games as well. I mean, I guess some of y'all have missed it.
It gets lost because your Twitter account turns into essentially a game log.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It does get lost within that, yes.
Don't change a thing, Roy.
I agree with him.
Yes,
Don't change a thing.
right, yeah.
There was last year when I was covering the Stanley Cup final, I was trying to support Roy by retweeting everything that he tweeted, and it was great engagement. So people love it.
He copied everything I said and posted it under his account, basically. So,
Retweeted.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not exactly retweeting. That's copying and pasting, and
Retweeted.
posting under your name is not retweeting. It's just tweeting.
Thanks, Sebastian. Sebastian gets it.
That's Meadowlark consultant Billy Gill, ladies and gentlemen, always helping everybody. Just retweeting Roy because he loves him so much and wants to be a supportive
Of course,
teammate.
exactly right.
Consulting,
Sebastian
Dan.
gets it.
It wasn't retweeting. It was just tweeting.
How's it going, Bernie?
The mascots aren't allowed to speak, Billy. Go sit in the penalty box.
What?
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Just go
Trying
sit
to
in
include people, trying to support my teammates
for
yet again,
not helping
getting
the- by
punished.
You were actively asking a question to produce dead air, Billy. Not helpful.
No,
He can't talk. He's not allowed to
How
talk.
do you know?
He'll get fired. I tried to talk to him before the show.
Well,
Why would
bring
you
up
try
something.
and talk to him? I told you they can't talk.
Hold on a second. So I'm getting kicked out for doing exactly what you did.
Outside.
Outside. Oh,
Dead air.
middle finger.
Dead air does not hurt the show if the show's not on the air, Meadowlark consultant.
It's possible that Bernie and Sebastian have lots of things to say. We just don't ask the right questions.
Bernie, Sebastian, go sit with Billy in the penalty
Oh,
box.
they don't deserve
Wow.
that.
Wow.
These are Hall of Famers everywhere. Soon to be Hall of Famers that you're kicking out of the studio.
Take
Three
the
Hall of
Costume
Famers.
Kings.
Take the dead air
Punishment king,
outside.
too.
Not a penalty. I mean,
It is. I've accidentally rewarded him.
You gave him a
Damn
gift.
it, the inside man got me again. I gave him a gift. He gets to go sit outside, not work, wreck the show, and enjoy the dead air out there with them because the mascots aren't allowed to talk. And it's a maximum asshole move on a show we're doing together. Out, Bernie.
Oh, man.
All three of you, go sit in the penalty box.
Catching a stray.
It's Billy's fault. All three of you, go sit crowded in a crowded penalty box. I also want, by the way, I'd like some imaging. I meant to send this last night to the group. I want some imaging that has a whistle blowing and a being sent to the penalty box. When it's Jeremy, I want 2 minutes high shticking and stuff like that.
I like that.
I want jokes in the penalty box with these clowns.
Dan, I kind of feel like you're being a bad host because first you send them to the penalty box, then you don't tell them where it is or what it is. Bernie was just lost back here. He thought Billy's seat was the penalty box.
Wow.
So I think you should go.
Meadowlark.
What?
Okay.
Oh, no.
I am now looking
work out
at
great.
all penalties in the NHL to try to find some wordplay that we can have for I like
Slashing?
high sticking. Yes.
You guys slashing?
I'm not gonna lie. Last night it made me laugh. Anytime, and it's juvenile, it's immature, but anytime there's a hooking penalty, I laugh. It's like 2 minutes for hooking because I
Right.
just imagine like this defenseman for Boston hooking.
But how do we apply that name to someone in our crew when we call a penalty on and send someone to the box? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm searching for. I'm searching for more high shticking, okay? Because that's perfect.
What, slashing?
Yes, but for who?
Cross-checking?
When you say something unproductive, it could be boarding.
Okay,
For
see, now
boarding,
that works.
for boring.
Yeah, that works.
I
Right
like
there.
it.
Yeah.
2 minutes for boring.
Go to the penalty box, Jerry.
Oh, no. No.
High
Oh,
sticking.
no.
Can't believe you used my own wordplay against me.
Oh,
What a fun penalty box that looks like. I mean, outside of Dan, what a blast that must be, no?
I feel like they're both Hall of Famers. Maybe
Yes.
it's just my South Florida bias, but
Right.
and then the fact that Billy the Marlin was ahead of these two, like if you think of South Florida mascots, these are the two you think of.
Are they?
I mean, Billy the Marlin is
Stanley C. Panther.
But how about the state of Florida? Because Dan was making the point that no mascot in the state of Florida has made it to the Mascot Hall of Fame. And Dan's larger point, and he's correct, is that we should probably have someone from the Hall of Fame on, not the mascots who can't talk.
Hey, that's a good point, yeah.
Why, speaking of mascot, why was Stanley the Sea Panther last night in this first period? He was just wearing like a bathing suit with no shirt on.
But not just that. He has a six-pack.
I know he
or
does.
8-pack,
I
actually.
guess that's why. If you got it, flaunt it. But I was just thinking, this is playoff time. This is not the middle of the season. It's beach day, so he's in beach. Like I need Stanley C. Panther in his normal attire. It's game 5 here, folks.
Well, the situation is it was 96 degrees yesterday. That's why.
Is that why he did it?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
need
hot.
jokes with my mascots in the playoffs.
When things get a little too intense and testosterone filled, Lucy or Jess can call too many men.
So all the
many men.
time.
I like it.
That's a good one. That's
Too
a good
many
one.
men.
I like that.
Too many
I like
men.
That. That's a good one.
Boring instead of boarding. We're trying to do wordplay.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out off air. It's
High
probably
sticking is
something
great.
that should be. I meant to send that last night and I forgot. Can you guys help me with other Paul Maurice video that we have? Because I don't know the context, Chris Cody, on something that you wanted to show us on not just Paul Maurice being sexy when he yells at people, according to you, but was his post-game stuff too? Because you guys have argued that he's giving great post-game now, better than most coaches are.
Yeah, it's basically a stand-up routine. He's doing this basically to calm down the fans. Like, he's not worried about it. Why should I?
So let's hear Paul Maurice here because this person was called by Zaslow the killer of fun. Paul Maurice came here and reinvented what playoff hockey looks like for South Florida. Stugotz, it's honestly been strange to see. It's something that I don't have enough of a working understanding of the sport, and I think very few of us have the expertise to actually understand what the depths of what these people do for a living. But it is truly baffling to me that an organization could go from we're playing a historic brand of hockey in the regular season that has no offensive precedent in the league. And when this was 2 years ago. And when that gets into the playoffs, it's going to die at the feet of people who coach and make their team play like Paul Maurice. Then they went and got an assortment of players to play exactly the dirty type of stuff that makes people crazy. And they reinvent themselves as a hockey team that can actually win in the postseason because you have to play differently. I don't understand how Paul Maurice did that. I don't understand the intricacies of it.
Well, transition offense doesn't really work in the playoffs. That's the problem. The Panthers offense back then was more on the rush, going back the other way. Now it's just about forechecking and board battles. But it was just dumping it in. You can carry it in as well, so long as you win the puck back. If you give the puck in the offensive zone, you get the puck back. You get second chances. You get screens in front.
Boston was trapping last night, though. So I feel like the way they were playing the Panthers, you got to just dump it down there.
Yeah,
that's the way we're going to get our goals.
They were basically doing what the Panthers have done all season.
Roy, you say that matter-of-factly, though, but you believed in that team 2 years ago. You thought it was so good at offense that perhaps it could overcome what playoff hockey is, and then they immediately get strangled and swept by the Lightning, and you were confused. So you say it matter-of-factly now as if you understand it, but I remember back then you believed that that hockey team was so good at offense that it was going to be able to overcome playoff hockey cliches.
Yeah, well, I believed in that team back then. I believe in this team now.
Bernie's wearing a piece. Now Lucy's wearing it.
Wait a minute. Did you know?
Oh, my God.
Did you know that Hall of Famer Bernie the mascot wore a toupee? This is breaking news right here. This is shocking. I cannot believe the worst thing a mascot can do is lose his head, but this is the second worst thing.
Strong hairline from Bernie, though. Very strong.
It's a bad look for Sebastian.
I had no idea. Wait a minute. Wait, it is a great look for Sebastian.
Yep.
Sebastian, give me one of these. Put a pause up. Let's see how that looks on you.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. No.
He will not do pause up. Look, you thought you were going to trick him into doing FIU stuff?
Rebrand here.
I think between the two of you, we can get you into the Hall of Fame there with Bernie's toupee. I had no idea Bernie wore a toupee, that he had a hair implant. I'm shocked by that. Let's play that Paul Maurice sound of him. This was described as stand-up comedy. I believe that's overselling what we're about to hear, but let's hear what we get from our sexy coach.
Paul, you definitely woke them up. They scored 11 seconds after the TV timeout there in the second period. What was the message there, and what was your thought on the goalie interference?
I don't know the exact words of the message. I felt that a little fire. I wasn't mad at them. Understood what they were going through. Just thought they needed some profanity in their life. I brought some. I don't excel a lot of things in life, but me, am I good at that? You see how I did that?
That's coaching, man.
Well, that's kind of comedy.
I don't know why it is that the average sports fan watches ballerinas on razor blades at a high rate of speed and thinks to themselves, you know what'll take that team over the top? The guy in the suit cursing. If he curses, that's what'll fix what's happening out here. I know they
believe in that.
I know they've worked all their life to be these amazing creatures who skate on razor blades and put their faces in front of the puck. They're already playing in the playoffs. They want to win very badly at sports, but what they need is the guy in the suit to curse a few times, then they'll remember to score.
Ballerinas on razor blades, that would be figure skaters, Nancy Kerrigan,
Tanya Harding, yeah. Dan, sometimes your message gets across more clearly when you just throw in a couple of curse words. It does. Yeah, it really hammers home the message. I'm telling you.
Jeremy, what are you bent over laughing at?
Just the clarification on ballerinas,
I don't understand
on skates. You were using language.
I want. Thank you.
You're a writer.
Yeah, Jeremy. Yes, thank you. And I don't understand the correction yet. What's happening with you? Because your Panthers are good. The other day, you said to me on air in front of everyone, "No, actually, Dan," you interrupted me, and you said, "No, actually, Dan, I've got a better question."
He did that.
Yeah, I did that to the journalist.
That was after you and me argued in the meeting before the show. We argued about whether or not the Panthers had indeed pulled one out of their ass. You're out of control, and I would think that you would have taken last night's loss and been a little bit sheepish about it, but you've come in just as aggressive today.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm a bit over-aggressive right now. I'm just waiting for them to win on Friday and go on and possibly play the Rangers.
Are you worried, Roy? I feel like you're worried.
Is it time to worry?
No, this is not Roy. This is not the Roy I know.
No,
it's supposed to be scary, guys.
Well, hold on. What if the Panthers lose the next game? Will you be worried?
I'll be worried.
But you're coming home.
Yeah, you're coming back home for Game 7.
Do you want a Game 7?
No, I don't want a Game 7. I want the series to be over. What the hell's the matter wrong with you?
Sounds scared.
Our thanks to Bernie and Sebastian the Ibis.
Wait, hold on, Dan. You should tell people to vote for them.
I'm
Go
going
to
to.
MascotHallOfFame.com.
Well, does it matter?
And also, in the time that's left, I'm a consultant.
You guys do.
So I'm thinking
You
maybe
guys-
each of them gives a speech as to why we should vote them in to the
Right.
Hall of Fame.
That's a great
You
idea.
want Dan to give that speech.
No, I wasn't. If they wanted to say it, maybe
Right.
throw in some profanities a la Paul Maurice if you want.
All right, there you go.
No?
Go ahead, Sebastian. You first. All right, Bernie.
It should be in based on that.
Oh, well said.
Yeah,
That's
there you
how
have
the
it.
Hall of Famer does it.
Bernie
I
seemed
mean,
like
I
more of
tell
a
you.
threat.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to vote.
Better vote.
Both mascots, we're going to vote. Our votes mean nothing, okay?
Well, but don't tell people that. Your votes count.
Well, we should have gotten someone on from the Hall of Fame while they were in studio with us.
For
That's-
Sebastian, you could also just type in Mike.
Yeah.
Thought that joke would go better.
I try.
They loved it.
Well, they can't laugh.
I gave you a
stick
little
you.
laugh. I mean, this
I
mascot
stick
gave
you.
you a little laugh, okay?
Stugotz, you have heard me obsess recently on air about everything that I see happening during technological changing times in how we consume just about everything. And now Netflix and Apple and Peacock are getting together to create a bundle for Comcast at a reduced price, and Netflix has bought itself Christmas Day games for the next 3 years. And the other day, sports stopped for a moment during a pretty busy time in basketball and hockey to laugh with football at the Tom Brady roast that was live on television. And by every measure I can discern, a really enormous investment and a really enormous success. I would like for you guys to get me some numbers. I don't know if there have been estimates on how much that cost to produce. It seemed like a giant undertaking that would cost, I think, more than $100 million to make. I've got to assume. I don't know how much more. I don't have any idea how much it costs to pay all of those people to do all of that and to throw a flawlessly televised live event. Those are very hard to do for 3 hours without glitches. And Tom Brady now regrets it. I was surprised that he ever did it at all.
Same.
I was surprised that he had a blind spot about how that might land on his children to be products of a public divorce that has to be very hard because, Stugotz, I know so many people who are broken as adults because of the damages done by divorces that aren't that kind of public. And it really did surprise me that as a father, Tom Brady would be not knowledgeable about what the impacts of that could be on his children.
I know he has his regrets. I understand why, and perhaps it wasn't thought through enough. But most of the roasters went out of their way to not directly talk about Tom Brady's kids.
Oh, but Stugotz,
But hold on. I was going to say, but they talked about his relationship with Giselle, his relationship with Bridget Moynihan, and of course, and they said nasty things. And of course, that is going to have an impact on his children. And I'm surprised Tom Brady, who seems to be pretty prepared for everything, did not think that part through before he went forward with the roast.
So he says he wouldn't ever do anything like that again. Not surprising that Stugotz would be maximum Monday morning quarterback on how did Tom Brady not see everything.
I mean, he saw everything the Jets were doing. I mean, before it happened.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy for me to also say after the fact. I'm not a father, right? And I'm not, I don't know anything about divorce except I've seen what it's done to some of my friends who are adults who have formative characteristics that come from not knowing as a child, is that my fault that they're no longer together? Why are mom and dad not together anymore? And then to hear the jokes on television of, hey, how about mom cheating with the jiu-jitsu instructor? That's funny, huh? as a child, or getting that at school, or whatever it is the results are, that Gisele Bündchen, were the quotes from her, or was it just reported how upset she was? Were the quotes, did they have her name on saying she was upset, or was it just reports that said that she was upset? Because when you sign up for that, you're allowing a whole bunch of people who don't have to respect the rules in comedy.
Correct.
In that setting, to have maximum freedom outside of Bob Kraft.
Right. Well, Dan, you have to factor that in, because Gisele is watching that, and they are laying into her and their relationship and how it ended. And Tom Brady doesn't get up and say, hey, stop doing that. But the second they go after Bob Kraft, he stands up and says, no more. You're
she
not
wasn't
doing
there.
that.
Bob was there, and she wasn't. I felt like the Bob thing felt like he was just performing, because he told Bob, hey, I told them no jokes about you. So they do a joke, so he's just got to get up and be like, hey, don't do that.
Wait a minute. Are you not paying attention to what was said on our show and elsewhere? That was not a bit.
I'm not saying it's a bit.
No, Tom Brady was legitimately mad that Jeff Ross crossed the line. Andrew Schultz has said that. Drew Bledsoe said that the tension was not manufactured. In fact, I thought it was super interesting to see how much more comfortable Tom Brady is with confrontation than the rest of us might be in that circumstance. Because Tom Brady had no issue in front of a whole lot of people protecting the power by stamping out Jeff Ross on his home field.
My first thought when that happened was, wow, I can't believe that is what is making him do it, and not the countless jokes about his family or kids.
That's what I'm saying.
I hope that his kids didn't watch it. I hope he had like the sensibility to say, hey, don't do it. But also in this day and age, like that was my entire TikTok feed the next day. His kids probably saw that. And I would say, like, hey, if my dad wanted to do a roast, if he was like, no, you don't talk about Progressive Insurance that way. But yeah, go ahead, talk about Lucy like that, I would not be happy.
I'm a little confused. You guys mean to tell me that Tom Brady made a career decision that negatively affected his family and he didn't think about it?
Billy,
that doesn't sound like that guy.
What are you laughing about?
Her dad
Billy?
works for Progressive,
No,
which is an important part of that story that was absent.
That is, thank you, Billy. I would think that you more than anybody around here would totally appreciate making a joke that nobody understands except for a couple of people.
I've said he's worked for Progressive before, and I've also talked about his divorce on air before. I've talked about a lot of things.
Lucy, I agree, but welcome to the Metal Arc family, thinking all the things you've said on the show have been heard by all of America. That is how we do it. We think you've heard every single thing we've said for 20 years and remember it. Billy, more than most.
And now they all know my dad is divorced.
Correct. And that you
available though? Or?
No, not available. Shout out Angela, big fan.
Shout out Angela.
I saw you making faces when I said product of divorce. I don't want to dig around in what it is that are the adult damages of that for you. But just imagine, how old are Tom Brady's kids? I want you to imagine whatever it is that happens on school. And this is the part where, Stugotz, I forgive Tom Brady for not understanding. Even telling your kids not to pay attention to somebody, turn off the television, whatever, go out for the night. There is no way for this to be avoided once it starts circulating in places like TikTok for kids. And so it's not just your kids what they're going to get, but it's what all their kids at school, all of their friends are going to get. And now your kids are going to school. It is very real remorse that Tom Brady is feeling. When you do, Stugotz, help me with this because I am not a parent. Help me with what it feels like to love and to know that you've made a decision that harms your children and you didn't see it coming.
I embarrass my kids just about every single day. I've been doing it for 20 years, so I'm an expert on this subject. It's hard, and especially with Tom's kids. Dan, here are their ages, 16, 14, and 11. Kids are cruel at that age. They are relentless, and they are cruel. So what must have happened within those, friendly circles, and at school the next day, and it's probably still going on, I would imagine is relentless and uncomfortable for those kids. But it is hard, Dan, because I am playing Monday morning quarterback. It is hard to see all the permutations that could come from, having yourself roasted by Jeffrey Ross. Did I say that word right?
What was the word? What was the word?
I can't say it again.
Well, try it.
That's the closest I'll ever come.
Well, try.
Permutations?
Oh, no.
That's it.
Mutation.
How do you think you spell that?
Permutations?
Yeah.
It's just, how do you spell
That's
it?
closer.
I was going there, Dan. I was trying to help you out. I was giving you, you asked an expert about embarrassing his kids, and I was trying to help you out and tell you what it's like.
It was helpful.
It's hard to see, it's hard. It really is. When you're filming me and I'm smoking cigarettes and I'm doing a bit, the impact it will have on my children, I didn't think of that stuff when I was doing it, when I was in the middle of it, and I wish I had, but I didn't. But Lord knows, no one has embarrassed their kids more than me.
Let me address, though, the idea.
Tom Brady's got nothing on me.
Let me address the idea of what the impact of divorce is. The 3 children you talked about, the youngest are Giselle and Tom. So it's 14 and 11.
Right.
And the difficulty of those formative years. I will tell you that my wife lost her mother at 12 years old to death, and it is a formative thing that has formed almost the entirety of who she is. And while this isn't death, it can feel like it to kids of that age, even if the parent is still around, because you have lost somebody. And unlike death, in many instances, you blame yourself because you're not adult enough to remove yourself from where the guilt is. This isn't true for everybody, but I've seen it enough at this age and younger. I have a friend who his parents got divorced, and as a toddler, he did not speak for 2 years after that. Now, that's a toddler.
Right.
But wherever it is you go to get the things that feel like love for the rest of your life, your parents divorcing is hard enough by itself. Your parents divorcing because cheating may or may not have involved is hard enough itself. But now add to the element this, all of the kids in the school you're in now know every single thing. And all of comedy is piling on to mommy.
Right. The other thing with Brady is he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to do it. Like, there's no reason to do it. I mean, I act like a jackass because I have to. I embarrass my kids because I have to. Tom Brady didn't have to do this to his children.
Could you say this is a transition into his media career doing this?
I don't know why he did it. I mean, that would be my best guess, but I'm still not sure why he did it.
He said he did it as a favor to Jeff Ross because he thought it would be funny. The Roastmaster General suggested it. It made – how many people watched this? Because the numbers were really good. It was a success in every way but this. But what a heartbreak for Tom Brady to have it be a success in every way but this, to create the regret and guilt of, I wouldn't do that again. What a horror for my children. I don't know that there's something in the emotional realm that doesn't involve like actual loss that can feel worse to a parent who's actually loving than to have a blind spot about how you harmed your child unnecessarily. I don't know how the disappointment, if you don't care as a parent, if you're not trying to be a good parent, if you think kids need to be more adult, okay, but if you're an actually loving person who cares deeply about the kids and is hurt by the product of divorce, if you then on top of that make a giant public mistake that harms them and you didn't see it coming, that one hurts, man. Even I know he's superhuman, but that one hurts.
Before we get to Lucy and Juju with their thoughts on the WNBA, which tipped off last night, the roast of Tom Brady, according to Variety magazine, was the most watched TV title on Netflix during the week of May 6th, and the second most watched title overall. The special hit 13.8 million views during the May 6th to May 12th viewing window. That's a lot. I expected more, actually.
It was number one.
I have to scroll down here and look.
That's a lot. I expected more, though.
It was Brooke Shields in Mother of the
Mother
Bride.
of the Bride.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw it.
26.7 million views.
Oof.
That's crazy.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't?
No. It felt rushed, honestly. Like there were scenes where I'm like, I think they're just trying to get this movie out. Like this seems like this is a one-take scene, and we're good. And let's just keep it moving.
Chris, you say you're making fun of me,
Also,
rightfully so. But 26.7 for Brooke Shields. I figured Tom Brady would get something close to that.
That's also a lot.
Yeah. I expected more.
Can I say something controversial? Benjamin
can.
Bratt was in it. Benjamin Bratt, I felt, and I shouldn't, no disparagement to the Bratt family or anyone involved with Benjamin Bratt. He's 60.
I feel like something bad's coming.
Good for 60, but
always is.
I feel like Benjamin Bratt showed up one time at our studio unannounced.
He did?
With Bryan Cranston.
With Bryan Cranston.
I walked them up. I was in an elevator with just them two.
So Dan has wanted Cranston on this show for years.
Yeah.
It was the day where Dan wasn't here.
Sedano got him.
Yeah, Sedano and Izzy spoke to him.
Right, yes.
But Benjamin Bratt came along with him because I guess they were in a movie together or something. I don't know.
Right.
And I was like, wow, Benjamin Bratt.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that he's still not, but
right.
I saw it and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
60 came. Still looks great. If I could look like that at 60, honestly, I would sign up. I mean, if right now, me, today, could switch bodies with 60-year-old Benjamin Bratt, I would do it. But, you know, 54-year-old Benjamin Bratt, that was another animal. Hey, Juju.
What up?
Juju, what's going on? Lucy told me that because I'm conditioned.
I said, nah, but damn that. I see what Dan be talking about. Billy is an anarchist. You gonna look at me talking about some damn hey Juju talking about
he
Benjamin
just leaves that
Bratt.
in your lap.
I don't give a damn about Benjamin Bratt ass.
I know.
I'm here to talk WNBA.
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Yeah, he dropped that in your lap.
The WNBA season started last night.
Right.
Caitlin Clark debut. The Suns stood up in the streets. They stood up in the fire.
Yeah.
DeWanna Bronner proved herself. I've been doing this forever. I'm breaking records. AT Alyssa Thomas, come on, man, triple-double first night. Look out. I think she on MVP watch already. What you think, sis? Lucy, what's up, my sister? It's good to see you. You know what I mean?
Good to see you, Juju. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas is Asia Wilson's the leading candidate for MVP, and I know we're only one game into the season, but the second I saw her walk out in that outfit before the game started, I said, she's MVP this season. Yeah. Everybody else can just go home. It's not worth it. But Alyssa Thomas finished second last year, and you saw that, like how great she was in that opener against the Fever. She's insane. Yeah. It's probably, I would say, the most stacked WNBA year we've seen in a long time because there's so much star power, especially with this rookie class coming in. I think viewership numbers are going to be insane, and I just want the Fever to win.
Hell yeah, bro. And the competition is gotten bigger and better than ever. Like you see with the Valkyries, salute the Golden State Valkyries. Welcome to the league, next year expansion team. But it's so much talent that's the result. It's so many great players out here that's not on the roster, and it's shining through because, bro, top to bottom, the Sun they're not even talked about as one of the top contenders of the championship this year. But you see top to bottom, three Janae Carrington with the defense on Caitlin last night, locked down. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I think that every team in the W this year, dog, can put their hat in the ring for no competition. Like the New York Knicks are doing in the NBA, every team in the WNBA is scrappy right now.
So, Juju, obviously the Aces are the favorite to three-peat this year, win the title. Who do you think their biggest competition is?
I think their biggest competition is themselves, for real. Like they came out last night, put the foot in ass first early in that game. But then as the game go by, they get more comfortable. Then the Sun came back. Salute to Diana Taurasi turning back the clock. Like, oh my goodness. Like that Suns team, that Mercury team, they are, I think that they're scary because they got Natasha Cloud and they got old girl Kalea Copper from Chicago. They got a team full of slashers. So I don't think that they even have a big man or the type of team that could give the Aces a run or a problem. But like you said, a testament to the scrappiness. They gave them girls a run. So I think that the Vegas Aces' biggest competition is themselves.
No, I had the exact same takeaway because I was so excited watching that game when it was a blowout in the first half because I was like, I'm going to get to see Kate Martin. Yes, this is awesome. Then we didn't get to see Kate Martin. That's okay. Her time will come. When you're looking at this rookie class, obviously Caitlin is kind of the name that we're all focusing on just with all the hype that's come into this season. What did you think of her opener last night?
I'll give her a B. Because, look,
a B.
She's a rookie.
That's fair.
Yeah, I give her a B. And the B becomes because of the turnovers. You can't have 10 turnovers no matter who you are. But, like you said, I know about Dejanay. I know about the competition level. Like, no one says she's going to come in here and dominate. We say she's going to come in here and do her thing. So, as for a rookie on that stage, everybody in that arena is here to see you. Every all the hopes and dreams are on your back. It's like LeBron. We haven't seen this type of expectation since LeBron. And for her to still come in and drop a dub, like she dropped the dub now. No, let's not do that. So she had a 41% usage rate last night, which is the same as she had in Iowa. So I think that I give her a B for last night.
Juju, you're a very kind grader, an easy grader, a B. She didn't grab a single rebound. Her team lost by 21 points. It was her debut. I don't know how to handle this because I don't want to criticize Caitlin Clark, but
you do though. If
an NBA player had this much buildup and in his first game lost by 21, no rebounds, all the turnovers, the fouls, I'd be crushing them today. So Lucy says I have to wait 5 games. New job. She was trying to do too much, trying to show off. Probably a little bit nervous. Is that fair? 5 games before I can start criticizing Caitlin Clark? I gave her a C, by the way.
I mean, you act like you gave her an F-. That's one letter grade.
I gave her a C.
Bro, you gave her 79. I gave her 80. Like, that's all that happened. I think that, look, brother, forget 5 games, brother. Have you will criticize right now if you want to, but just know that you're doing all this on wax. And whenever she climbed that mountaintop and slay the dragon, you going to be on wax saying what you said. So I don't give you 5 games. Go ahead, say what you got to say.
Well,
I believe in her.
I already said it, but I'm willing to wait 5 games before I really go in on it. That's all I'm saying.
It's all good.
Okay.
Look, as long as we getting talking heads and our big brothers like you talking about it,
right.
We already having a good start.
Okay. Juju, what's going on with Jordan Canada? Is she fine or not? Because she has a little O next to her name in my fantasy team, and it says that she's out. She missed preseason games, but I have no idea if she's playing in the regular season.
Come on, man. Neighborhood Canada, salute to LA. You already know what's going on. But she, I seen her running around the gym. I'm not saying she's healthy, but I seen her doing drills, running around the gym up and down the court. And that was as recent as Saturday. So,
all right.
I mean,
I'm putting
I think
her in
that
the
a lot of these
starting
players.
lineup. Yeah.
Right. Like Dejanay had a O on her name. A lot of players got O's on their name right now. But that's just because, and like we said, we got to hold them accountable. ESPN, be as efficient with these WNBA rankings and nights and totals as you are with the NFL. Let's update these injury reports. Let's make sure we know what's going on because we're enthused about the fantasy season. Don't do us like that.
Mm-hmm. Juju, 2 assists short of your parlay. I took it last night. Oh, my God. It was
Courtney
crushing. We were
Vandersloot.
crushing.
Bruh, salute Doggy Dog, man. Salute Doggy Dog, Vandersloot from the New York. It wasn't even on her, bruh. It was because she was passing it to Sabrina, and Sabrina didn't have that wet shooting night like she was supposed to. But excuses are like buttholes. We all got one. So I lost the parlay yesterday, and I'm accountable.
All right.
Talking women's basketball, but going to the college game a little bit. I haven't been on the show since Lisa Bluter announced her retirement. I am so sad. I was devastated. And excited for Jan Jensen. She's going to be amazing. She's the perfect head coach. Juju, what was your reaction when you saw Lisa stepping down after back-to-back national championship title game appearances? We didn't win.
That is quite the way to present that.
Wait,
back-to-back.
Back-to-back national title game.
Are you saying Caitlin left, so she left? That's it?
No, that's absolutely not what happened.
Well, it
Lisa's
feels
been
like
there
that's
for
what happened.
24 years.
Right.
That's pretty much an entire Lucy.
And then
That's a long time.
she left right
And then
when
she left when Caitlin left.
I mean, look, we all get on Tom Brady for not leaving when he climbed the mountaintop. So, shoot, I feel like she understands. Lisa done went to back-to-back championships in Iowa. Like, how in the hell?
Caitlin did that.
I mean, nah, that's a teamwork. When you got your lacrosse trophies for being the coach of the champion team, did you help out at all, or was it just all the players?
It was all the players. I didn't do anything. I got to be honest with you. I just rolled the ball out. I mean, that's what I did. We were stacked, Juju.
Well, Lisa was a little bit more involved than you were, I'd say, because she had to understand, like Hannah Stelke, like it's they have so many things that go into a season and confidence getting like up and down that roster. Gabby, I think that she instilled the confidence required that all of them could make it, not just Caitlin. Pardon me.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I think she deserves all the. We supposed to put her on. We supposed to lead some of these shows with Blue to retiring, like the same way we do. I think like Vanderveer, like we didn't give her enough attention when she retired. Stanford for all these years, bro. These goats are retiring in our faces, and we like, what's next? Like, nah, bro, that's a legend, sis.
No, I 100% agree. I'm curious. I hope to hear from Lisa soon in the next few days. I wonder how much of a factor like NIL and sort of this new recruiting age in especially women's college basketball, which is quickly eclipsing the men's, played a part in her decision.
Like it drove Saban from the game?
Yeah. Like it's harder now. You have to do double the recruiting. Like, Iowa was active in the transfer portal and bringing Lucy Olson in. Like, there's so much more that goes with it. So I'm curious if that played a factor in it or not. But let me tell you, Jan Jensen, that woman is going to lead us back to the national title game, and we'll win it this time. Not this year. Not this year. When Addie Deal gets to Iowa City.
You feel me? And underrated. Like, shoot, Lisa might want to get her groove back. She might want to go to vacation, man. It's time for Lisa to let her hair down and enjoy the fruits of her labor. You feel me? But before we get out of here, last night also, Lil Feezy, Nafisa Collier, and them girls, they took down the Storm. Now, the Storm got NECA. They got my girl, I can't think of it. The cameras, the lights. She knows what I call her. Skylar Diggins Smith. They got a great roster over there as well as Jewel, Nneka Gumagwe, and Ezzy. I think that the expectation and the lights are bright for Seattle right now, and I think that the lights are very low for the Minnesota Lynx right now, and they could sneak in and take some of this shine away late season. Look out for the Lynx.
Juju, we're 2 wins away here from Knicks Celtics. I mean, I feel like if you ask Dan for Game 3 courtside seats at the Mecca for that series, Dan will get it done for you. He won't get it done for me, and don't tell him I'm coming with you. But I feel like if you ask him, he will get it done. What do you think?
Hey, I'm on it. I'm going to ask his ass.
Okay, but again, reminder, don't tell him I'm coming with you, okay?
Right.
Cause
yeah,
then he won't get it done.
I'm terrified for my Celtics right now. The way the Knicks are playing.
What?
The way the Knicks are playing.
Right.
We're not going through these same tests that they are. And we are playing soft as hell. And look, man, I'm worried.
Juju's been saying it all year. He really has. Everyone's been praising the Celtics, and Juju's been worried.
They've been the best team, the most dominating team in the NBA the entire season. They're up 3-1 right now. What are you worried about?
A lot of blowouts.
Right, by the hair of their chinny chin chin.
Juju, the Knicks have 3.5 players. I mean,
and they all got heart, and they all will drive you. They all will take you to the rack right now.
They do.
The Celtics players, they will all shoot a half-court shot in rhythm. That's all they got.
All right, love you, buddy. See you Game 3 courtside, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Here's a stat of the day from that big man, Nicola. Godlike skills put on display, but we're feeling so blasé, setting records all the time. We've become so indifferent. We're all bored, but what the hey? Jokic Stat of the day.
Nikola Jokic has more playoff assists than Shaq, Paul Pierce, Mike Conley, Joe Dumars, Allen Iverson, Kyrie Irving, and Damian Lillard. How about that? Big game, Dame.
As I'm listening to that, I legitimately don't know the answer to the question I'm about to ask, which
that?
is Jokic a scorer first? I legitimately don't know
It's
the
a great
answer to that.
question.
He had 13 assists last night, no turnovers. God bless, would I want that from my point guard? He is unlike anyone I've ever seen that size. Obviously, he's a 3-time MVP. But the casual excellence of doing that to the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I, in sports, Stugotz, love when the best at this goes at the best at that. Whether it's mixed martial arts or anything, I love watching the arts mix. So one of my favorite things is basketball. Okay, top of the key. Let's go. It's Jordan and Iverson. It's the top of the sport. They're guarding each other. What's going to happen? Top of the key, end of the game. Those shots are hard to get at the end of the game. Show me the best against the best and watch everyone on the court who is next to them become spectators just like you. Last night, Denver's up by 11, top of the key, and Harlan knows what he's watching.
Yep.
Harlan understands the history of what it is that he's watching, and he says to you, just like that, Jokic dancing with Gobert. And what I'm seeing when he says the word Gobert is, yes, these are two bears dancing. When he says Gobert, and I'm like, Jokic, what are you going to do? Go, bear. Go do what bears do because you're a trained polar bear. and I'm watching you against the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and you hit the three-pointer in his face, and you're so casual about it. You don't roar at the crowd. You don't flex. It doesn't seem like anything other than the thing you do, like a metronome, just jogging up and down the court, waiting for all of it to end so you can go be with your horses. Like just hoping it all can end, and the Defensive Player of the Year is on you, and he can do nothing, and you've taken Minnesota's greatest strength, Stugotz, because I know we talk about Anthony Edwards. He was on their team last year.
Right.
He was great last year. In Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year 4 times, who's not being played off the court. They have the number 1 defensive efficiency in the league at the rim. But what happens if you've got a polar bear who takes that out of the rim? What are you going to do when Gobert can't be Gobert out there because the polar bear is going to make a 3 in his face and Harlan's going to shout, framing it, it's a masterpiece because it's the best the sport can offer. Like, you can tell me all you want about Jordan.
Right.
The offensive efficiencies of the game today make it so goddamn hard. 13 assists, 0 turnovers from that position when they got the Defensive Player of the Year, the 6th Man of the Year, when they are a swarming defense and they've got a giant rim protector who can't protect the rim from that guy who goes 8 for 9 on him.
You want to know how incredible of a playmaker Jokic is? He had 13 assists and no turnovers in a playoff game last night. Tony Parker only ever had 13 assists in a playoff game 3 times.
Ridiculous.
And he never did it without a turnover.
point guard.
A point guard. Jokic is 7 feet.
Right.
And scored 40.
He is entering, Dan, he's about to, if he can pull this off and win a championship, he is entering a rare category of guys in NBA history that have multiple titles and multiple MVPs. Like, it's the best of the best. It's Duncan, it's Jordan, it's Magic, it's Bird, it's Russell, it's Wilt, it's LeBron. That's who it is. And Duncan.
You're not going to be able to explain this to your kids now, never mind in the future. Like, it's not, I'm not telling you 20 years from now you're not going to be able to explain it. I'm telling you, go ahead, go into your kid's bedroom right now and try to explain it. Because you're not going to be able to.
That'd be an odd thing to try and do, right? Like, knock on your kid's door. Hey, want to sit down with you?
Maybe I'll do it
Serious
tonight. I'll do it with my 6-year-old tonight, and I'll record it.
They're wondering, like, is this the talk? And it's not.
Explain to them. I want to tell you about what unprecedented greatness we're witnessing. Listen, kid, I understand. You live in a time Skip Bayless chases LeBron 20 years with a pitchfork.
Put your tablet down for a second. I got to talk to you.
Yes, I got to talk to you. Let me explain to you what this person who was drafted 42nd in the draft is doing to this sport. And us dumbass media members are so unfamiliar with this kind of excellence that as soon as he goes down 0-2, we're like, yeah, it's over. It's over. I want the group to explain something to me, please. Draymond Green says this now of Minnesota. Their body language is bad. Karl Anthony Towns walks off the court. He's down 3-2. Draymond Green says it's over. Why do we need to do that?
Well,
why the need to do that? Please explain it to me.
He's paid to give his opinion. His opinion is the series is over.
I know, but why the need to? I'm not saying. Oh. I'm not saying his need to give that opinion. Of course, Draymond wants to be provocative. I'm saying all of you listening to me. Why do you need to proclaim a series over before it actually is?
We want to be right.
It's fun.
But you want to be right, but you're taking the favorite's position. Saying it's not over is the actual unpredictable opinion. Saying that Minnesota was going to win that series when it was up 2-0, everybody was doing that. And I'm asking you, why? Why?
It's fun. They just told
Is
you.
it?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's easy.
You should try it.
Yeah.
Whee!
Right. I mean, I didn't hear you saying Denver was going to win the series.
I didn't know who was going to win the series. I like to watch it.
You thought it was over.
I would like to watch it play out.
Are there any series going on right now that you would like to proclaim over?
Yeah, try it.
Dan,
It's
Celtics
so
are up
fun.
3-1.
Celtics over.
Come on.
Panthers,
Is it over?
Bruins?
Is it
Panthers?
over? I know you
Come on,
love
say it's
Game
over.
7s, but over? I mean,
that one's over.
All right. There you go. Thank you.
See?
Come on. Join me on that one.
Felt good? Felt good?
Yeah, look at him.
It did, huh?
That
Feel as good as I do, huh?
That
Try
did
again.
feel
Knicks
good.
Pacers. Knicks Pacers. Knicks Pacers.
Well, why would that one be over?
Knicks 3-2.
But I don't think it's over.
Oh, okay.
No,
All
it's
right.
not over.
It's
disappointing.
over.
Yeah.
It's over. The Pacers are going to win it.
Oh, wow. What?
I am warning the audience right now, Stugotz, because the audience is divided on this subject. I will tell you that longtime listeners to this show have spoken. They do not want to hear me talking about the sports industry. Sports media industry. I should
The
say
sports industry, yeah, like the
yeah.
games, they want to hear about that.
Sports, they
More
do,
of that sometimes they
yes,
have.
Thank you.
Unless
yes.
it's hockey, then they say less of that.
Yes.
Or
Well-
they heat less of that, too.
man,
Very picky, if we're going to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Talk more sports, but the right sports, not this sport, that sport. I mean, come on, make
Billy,
your minds,
I would
people.
love for
Can't
you.
please them all, Billy.
Consulting here.
I would love, Billy,
Hey.
honestly, if you want to be someone who does get extra money as a Meadowlark consultant, but only on air, speaking most honestly for the audience in the regard that you just did, this is what, like you on behalf of the audience, Juju does that very well, but I would be willing to pay extra
I need it in writing, though. I've learned that the hard
for
way.
this, with Stugotz,
Well,
for this character to be stronger and give us honest consulting opinions on what needs to be better around here, I would take it, because I would say to you, while our longtime audience doesn't want to hear me talk about the sports media anymore, it does seem to be that people who don't listen to this show eat up that stuff and then end up at our show because they want to hear more of it. So our audience rejects it, but the audience at large that consumes sports media, absolutely not. They want to hear about RG3 being replaced by Jason Kelsey on Monday Night Football, even though Jason Kelsey is saying, I am virtually guaranteed to have CTE. They want to hear about, is NBC going to outbid TNT and end the greatest sports studio show of all time?
Hold on a second, because I think we have imaging for this.
Do you get annoyed every time Dan Le Batard pontificates about the sports media industry? Well, too bad, motherfucker. He knows you don't give a damn about what he's gonna say. It's time for sports media talk today.
You're good.
I am?
You are now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what I want to talk about.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I'm not
The
sure.
old bait and switch,
But
huh?
I want Meadowlark consultant Billy Gill to opine, speak on behalf of the audience on things this show needs to do better.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a lose-lose position there.
Okay, you either
if I say the unpopular thing, then I get yelled at by one side or the other side, you know?
No, but you pretty much do that all of the time. You speak
What?
for the audience, as if you don't think that I don't listen on Friday when you guys are spinning that wheel, and the only
I
topics
didn't want to do that.
We knew you were listening.
I didn't want to do
the
that.
only topics that you went to are the topics and the things that you wouldn't go to are things that I like to talk
I
about.
didn't
You don't.
ask
No,
to do
you
that.
do it in the shadows.
I didn't do that.
It's an inside job.
No. Can I ask you guys something?
No.
King Charles in this picture, is he in hell? What is this painting of King Charles? Did you see the official first portrait of King Charles? You know King Charles, King of England? Familiar with King Charles? That's the official first portrait of King Charles.
He's bleeding.
Well, I don't know what's going on here. Dan?
Well, what's going on is you've sprung something on me that has no context whatsoever, that has nothing to do with what we were
Well, I was
talking
on
about.
TMZ and it popped up, and I was just
Yeah.
curious.
You're okay. Keep your distractions to yourself. I'm doing the show over here.
Paid consultant.
Yeah.
But hell, or
wants
what
to
do
be
you think?
executive producer. Not really.
But hell,
Obviously
or
not really.
with Art Briles, what do we think's going on here? That's a weird first portrait. Would you not agree with that?
Why is it in our show right
Well,
now?
because
What
the
is
internet's
context
buzzing about
for,
it. It's-
Okay.
yeah,
So,
it's-
but that's
it's
not what we were.
trendy.
I was trying to do the show.
But this is Billy's job as a consultant.
I'm consulting
is to tell
you.
you what the internet is buzzing
Nightly-
about.
Now,
Yeah,
when did that
nudging
become
you
his job?
slightly over.
When did that become his job?
King
Yeah.
Charles
It's
talk.
not his job.
I'm telling you, put King
He thinks
Charles in the algorithms. We're going to be buzzing. We're going to be the biggest sports show in England right now.
Sorry.
Son of Queen Mum. That's all my knowledge. On
Why
that
are you
little
looking at
family
me?
thing.
I didn't do anything.
Queen Mum.
You didn't do anything.
What did I do?
You didn't do anything. What you've done, you and him for 20 years.
What?
No, you.
Who?
You and him
Yeah.
for 20
Jeremy?
years.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. I was doing the show.
I know.
I was doing a show.
I was trying to do it with you.
That's right. You were trying to do with me, but then then he started doing the show he likes to do. And where did you go?
I go with the flow.
No, you go with him is what you do, and then you two do that for 20 years, and he yells at me, I want it in writing.
There's a butterfly on his shoulder. Is that butterfly in hell?
Wow.
Or did that butterfly accidentally land on the painting, and now it's stuck
The thing
and dead?
that I wanted to talk about, because there are two things here I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And that wasn't one of them.
This is not one of them, and it's the first I'm learning of this. And the way that Billy did that, which is just to throw it at me when I'm in the middle of doing our show and I have no context whatsoever for what it is that he's doing, it's just, it works against his career advancement.
We have video of the unveiling if you would like that. We can kind of put that up there. So here's the king, and there he is. In
like a
hell.
floating head.
With a butterfly that may or may not be living. Well, it's dead now if it's stuck to the painting. This is like the awkward videos you see of like celebrities that they get the sculptures and it looks nothing like them. I would imagine, unless he likes this, right? You think he likes this?
I'm sure he approved it. I mean,
I don't know. Well, yeah, that family you
He's
would
the
think
king.
approved it. Yeah, I don't think he surprised the royals with these things.
Back to you, Dan.
Meghan did. They didn't like that.
Not back to you, Dan.
Back to you.
The thing that I wanted to do here,
there were two,
that I thought you guys would enjoy, Icyvert on X wrote what I believe to be a sports poem.
Okay.
Nobody understands the bond between a boy and the mediocre wide receiver he watched when he was 9 years old.
Irvin Fryer.
Brian Hartline. Chris Chambers. Devon Bass.
Wayne Corbett.
This is a game that could be played forever. Now, does it also, Lucy, nobody understands the bond between a girl and the mediocre wide receiver she watched as a child?
I was more into mediocre quarterbacks. I think that was more my style.
That's all you had.
So if I tried to connect with you, a 9-year-old Lucy loves this quarterback who's not very good, but she thinks he's good because she's being introduced to quarterback play.
Look, I got introduced to football with Iowa football, so my entire perception of everything, very skewed. Also, my parents got divorced around that time, so everything is off. Yeah. I don't know what's real or what's not.
So does this tweet speak to you like a poem, the way that it speaks to a 9-year-old boy who would become a sports fan because he fell in love with some crappy receiver that, had 440 yards for the Dolphins one season?
Sure. So my team that got me into Iowa football and football in general was the 2009 Iowa Orange Bowl team led by Ricky Stanzi. And when I went to the Big Ten championship game 3 years ago, I got super drunk and I saw him there and I saw the whole team and I told them that they changed my life and I started crying. And they were like, who is she? And I was like, you guys don't understand. I work in sports because I love you guys so much. And they were like, okay, cool. And it was very embarrassing.
So it's where I wanted to go, Billy. I thought there'd be a decent show there.
Good path.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about me crying. I feel like that's great.
I agree.
You agree it's good that she cries? That's
Yes,
nice.
for
Happy
content.
tears.
Yes, for content. Happy tears for content. I mean, we've been milking Lucy for those for an entire year. No one around here cries around sports. You guys don't even care about sports comparatively. Comparatively, you guys, I would say, are totally indifferent about sports compared to how Lucy feels them. Not you, Jeremy. I'm going to leave you out of this. Roy, don't look at me like that as if your soul isn't dark. You don't give
Hey.
You don't give tears of joy to
That's true.
to a regular season game.
Why is Roy's soul dark?
Look at him.
Yeah, look at me.
Look at him for 20 years.
Jimmy Cephalo had to be one of those guys, right? Jimmy Cephalo, an average wide receiver that you fell in love with.
He caught a touchdown, a bomb in a Super Bowl.
He did.
Ricky Prohl.
Oh, Ricky Prohl.
I feel like our audience could play that game forever.
Alvin Harper.
Alvin Harper's not mediocre. Alvin Harper wasn't mediocre.
Well, he was when he went to Tampa.
But is that a 9-year-old wide receiver? I don't mean to argue with the 9-year-old you, Roy. But Alvin Harper was a number 1 receiver when he left Dallas and failed at it.
Right.
So does that go mediocre?
I feel like he was a very good wide receiver. I'm with you on that.
Not good enough. This is
Right.
not the Ricky Prohl isn't Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline's a good one for a 9-year-old.
Yes, that's a great one.
Greg Camarillo.
That's kind
That is
of
good.
that's almost below average. That would be today's Berrios, right?
But he had a big catch on a 1-15 team, right? He had that touchdown.
He did. He saved the
winless season.
Some would say he's a legend. I mean,
yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Would some say that Greg Camarillo is a legend? Because I don't believe a single person would say that.
Some would.
No? Okay, I heard that already. Thank you, Metal Art Consultant. We don't need an echo. This place is already an echo chamber.
One moment Hall of Fame, Camarillo.
Wow.
Oh, that's true.
A good
That
one.
was another
That's a
game.
good one.
Did you like that game?
That's
really
a
good.
good
Yeah,
one.
that's a good one.
That's a good one
I mean,
for the
yeah.
One Moment Hall of Fame. Who are the One Moment Hall of Fame first ballot?
He has Reggie Miller in there for some reason.
9 seconds.
Hall of Fame or first ballot, One Moment Hall of Fame.
There are 2 moments in that 9 seconds, though.
Steve Bartman.
You're right, Roy. I didn't think about that.
Who was the David Tyree? The Giants.
David Tyree.
One
Yeah,
moment
David
Hall of
Tyree.
Famer. Yeah.
Mediocre receiver.
It's a good game.
The butterfly and the portrait.
That's right. It's time for
Against the spread.
What happened there?
I don't
restart
know
there.
why we're so bad at this after so much time. DraftKings, I'm sorry. DraftKings, I'm just sorry.
No, we're starting. We're just starting over there. That's
Oh, I thought it was funny.
wow.
I thought we were playing. I thought we were fooling around. No?
that was too sloppy.
That's where Chris takes it very seriously.
Okay. Now, you know what? I'm leaving all this in. Just
Oh,
start
come
over.
on,
Just leave it all in. Just leave it all in.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice.
Our incompetence.
Whenever Mike would do this, we get to start over.
Chris Cody, our incompetence is something. Look, we either succeed or fail on our incompetence because doing it the competent way, it ain't working.
Bingo.
That's right. It's our first time doing
Against the
And it is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Stay tuned because you'll hear about all that DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Roy, kick us off.
All right, Game 5 of the Avalanche Stars series. I'm going with the Stars. They are a home favorite, a goal and a half. Setting aside the Valeri and the Strusen suspension, the Stars have won the last 8 games after a road win. They won Game 4, and they have won by 2 in the last 3 games. So I'm going to say that this trend will continue. Go with the Stars as a home favorite, 1.5 against the spread.
Jeremy. I'm really into tennis now because of the movie Challengers. So I found a Challenger tournament in Bordeaux. Kieran Jacquet against Andy Murray. Andy Murray is minus 165. I'm taking Andy Murray
Against the spread.
Even though you're doing money line.
One moment Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Lucy.
More WNBA action. I'm going to take the Chicago Sky to cover +8 against the Wings. Both teams are missing their big right now. Camila Cardoso's out 4 to 6 weeks. Very sad. But the Sky beat the heck out of the Liberty in the preseason.
Yep.
I know it's preseason, but the vibes are high. I think the Sky will cover. This is Angel Reese's WNBA debut.
My
and
Sky.
That's against
the spread. Billy, bring us home.
Real quick, though, just right there. Lucy, do you follow? Juju tries and works very hard on these parlays. It hurts him when he loses. And last night, he got 2 easy rebounding numbers in the WNBA, and Vandersloot killed him by not having enough assists. But Juju really knows what he's doing when he's analyzing this sport, and it hurt me to see him lose that 3-team parlay because Vandersloot had 5 assists instead of 6.5.
Mystics were a problem last night. I'm shocked. The Liberty were trailing most of that game. I'm sorry for Juju, and I think you should bet on DraftKings, but I don't know how much you should trust me because I don't put my whole heart and soul into it. I do try, but I don't put my whole heart like Juju does.
Billy, bring us home.
All right, Dan, I'm going to take the Carolina Hurricanes minus 1.5 over the Rangers.
Wow.
Why, you ask? It's a great question. I don't know if you guys were watching, but during the NFL Draft watch-along, we had an offensive line expert named Ian, who we later revealed to be Taylor's roommate. Now, I found out that Ian is actually a giant Rangers fan. It's the number 1 team that he follows. And after the last game, Ian was not happy. He said, quote, Panarin is a fraud. Been saying that for years. He's a regular season merchant. So are Creeder and Zibanejad. core is made up of losers. And for that reason, I am taking the Carolina Hurricanes -1.5 over the New York Rangers against the spread.
Okay, objectively, I'm grateful that you poured yourself into that kind of research of, getting Taylor's roommate.
Kreider, not Creeder.
Yes.
The bread man.
I will tell the audience and people who watch the show on the DraftKings Network and watch it seriously for information, because on channel 1168 on Samsung TV Plus.com and on the DraftKingsNetwork.com.
A regular season merchant, Dan.
There are people looking to this channel for their gambling information. And you have just suggested, okay, and I'm going to go to my hockey expert here for help.
Ian.
No.
You have your hockey expert, I have
Right.
mine.
I have Roy.
Yours is Roy.
Roy, forgive me, but if I were to tell you that the Rangers, the best team in hockey, are going to lose tonight by more than a goal, you would tell me that you think that's probable, possible, likely?
It's probable. Like, they lost at home to the Carolina Hurricanes last time, so it's probable.
Probable that the Rangers will lose by more than a goal?
Yes, it's probable. I mean, the Hurricanes can get an empty net goal, and they can lose by 2.
Jeremy made a pick on a tennis match off a movie he saw.
Well, and more than that, here's the thing. That when I heard the way that he made that pick, I was legitimately thinking to myself, is he making a bet that makes him look like an asshole on purpose?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you this. The stakes
are
stakes are high in this one for Ian because he said, quote, if the Rangers blow this, I will never watch another hockey game for the rest of my life. So game for his fandom, game for his life.
We are in a contract year with DraftKings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why if I don't know something, I reach out to the experts. Ian.
All
He's
around
in finance.
us, all around us on this network, this gambling network, all around us are people who are wildly informed on how it is they make their bets. They are touts. They are helpful. They are information people. And we sit here like a turd a turd in a fruit punch bowl at a party, at a great party, a gambling party. We sit in the middle of it, betting tennis because this one saw a movie, and betting Carolina by more than a goal.
Ian's watched every game. He's in sales, we think.
You want those picks from Ross Tucker, huh?
Ross Tucker is more
You think
informed.
Ross Tucker's watching more Islander games or Rangers games, whatever, than Ian? Doubtful. I doubt it. But who knows? Because Ross Tucker's time seems to be working very different than everyone else's time. Guy knows everything. NFL, college. He has a show for every different sport, and he knows everything about all of them. How? How does Ross Tucker have the time?
I just texted my best friend Hannah and asked her who she thinks is going to win tonight.
Wow.
And she has never watched a hockey game this entire season. She's picking the Rangers. And she's an astrophysicist. She's real smart.
I'll text Joey.
Dan, you know what I found out about Hannah today? An anagram.
Lucy, you said Anna or Hannah?
Hannah.
Okay, I don't know.
Anna, too, depending on how you spell it.
Phil
Even though if
McConkey.
there's 2 N's, it's also an anagram. Same with 1 N, Anna. Anagrams are fun. Race
Hanagram.
car. A hanagram.
Lucy, I would like to talk to Hannah, the astrophysicist, and make hers the bet of the week that we're betting because I want better information than this group of clowns is providing me.
So she said, I don't think that's what I just said. I don't know what she was trying to type there. It doesn't make sense. But she said, if I'm wrong, that's showbiz, baby. So you have to trust that. I went to get another source, and I texted my little sister, and I said, who do you think? And she said, Rangers. Canes fans are annoying. Yeah. 2 great sources.
Wow.
Don't worry, Dan. I texted my brother as well. We'll find out soon.
I mean, it wasn't a bet on purpose you were making, right?
The movie's really good,
No,
Dan.
but
Have you seen Challengers?
Just all of it. Tennis. I'm going to bet tennis. Look at me. I probably smell like potpourri.
Thanks.
Okay. Yes. All right. That's what we were doing. Mm-hmm. The thing I wanted to get to before.
Willie Gault?
You're going too old, Stugotz. Pick something in this century for people to connect to.
It was my childhood.
I know, but you're making
50
when he was 9.
I know, but you're making jokes for people.
Freddie Solomon. I mean,
We didn't get to your guys' against the
You're
spread.
You're right. Yeah.
I don't have it against the spread
well.
because I wasn't prepared for this segment.
You need
And
an Ian in your life.
You have actively played defense against me today in a way that has rarely been this undercutting.
Defense wins championships, baby. That's show business. Hannah said that.
The story I was trying to get to. I want to talk to Hannah, the astrophysicist, and I want to make bets
She's
with
so
her.
smart.
No, but
Not Ian.
I want to no. No. See, this is what I want to do with our show. No, don't let Billy's team of dumb demons spew all over the bottom of this company and piss all over the show.
Consultant.
Ian broke down everyone that was drafted on the offensive line except centers because the Jets didn't need one.
Let's have Ian go against the astrophysicist head to head, and let's see. Let's put some money on it. You're informed idiot or Lucy's actually smart person who doesn't know anything. But at least we're going to choose an astrophysicist and not Taylor's roommate who's not named Ian.
Well, I will say this. I've never met Ian in person, so I can't completely vouch for him. But I was also told in my headset that Danny Benitez's cousin is also an astrophysicist.
Yeah, this
so
is what Billy wants to do.
Of
And
astrophysicists.
no, I've got enough
should
Danny
you like.
Benitez's I'm paying around here because we've hired everybody's friends around here to run our video department.
His cousin, though, astrophysicist.
No, I don't need any more of these people from the Miami that they told me never to build this in.
Yeah. What do you mean by these people?
My people.
Oh. Lavernius Coles.
My life. He's too good.
What? No, get out of
He's
here.
too good.
Get out of here.
Lavernius Coles is not mediocre.
Brady Mitchell.
He's not. Lavernius, go. That's not fair. Find me Lavernius Coles' best seasons. They are not mediocre.
Roddy White?
No, don't change it. And Roddy White was very good. How do you not know the definition for mediocre?
You're right. I should know it. No one's more mediocre than me.
Joey likes Carolina.
Oh. Okay. So now we're split. What do we do?
The story, well, probably not get another contract from DraftKings.
Oh.
If I had to guess, my guess would be that in a contract year, they would find this segment insufficient for the people who want gambling content.
I don't know. I trust my sister.
I don't think anybody's given you info on the Challenger tournament in Bordeaux, though, Dan.
Yeah.
The Bordeaux was the board. I'm like, he's not doing this on purpose. But when you said Bordeaux, I'm like, he is. He must be. He's leaning into, I'm going to be an asshole on purpose. It was the Bordeaux that got me.
It's what got me too. That's why I paid attention to it.
The story I was trying to get to. I'm going to tease a segment here because I think it's good. Just put up on the screen the frozen picture of the story I'm going to talk about next because I've been wanting to get to this for 2 segments. This is sports television.
Stephen A's face.
Just all of it. No, it's how Stephen A is gonna age with grace by empowering very strong, funny people to take that show into whatever it becomes. It's great. It's a great career move. What you see on the screen is Stephen A's future, and those guys are dominating sports media, and JJ Redick could have any job he wants. I've been trying to get to this story for 2 segments. Would you guys please allow me, or do you want to give me more information from Taylor's roommate about what's going to happen in...
That's fine.
So, Stugotz, I need to tell our audience and everyone here, wherever it is that you are tired of me talking about sports media, I totally get it. I am tired of me talking about it too. It has been not just talking about it, but living it over the last few years has been quite the illuminating experience because our business is changing. Anybody who's been with us for this long knows everything that happened with us, and it's an interesting thing to, in the pandemic, leave a safe thing that's changing and just sort of push ourselves into an unknown future where you're fighting for yourself, you're self-employed, and the media landscape is totally changing. And, oh, look, during that time, Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce just built a giant entire empire. And look over here in that time. Shannon Sharp has decided to get in the game in a way that notices what McAfee is doing and says, well, I can be that because I'm going to be a workaholic late in life who competes the way I did at football and watch what I do now when I get some power and some business. And Stephen A. links up there and says, yes, welcome here, First Take. We'll have a platform and we'll build all our own shit on ESPN because ESPN has changed. Everyone sees the game, right? Everyone sees McAfee's renting. McAfee, $17 million rents, comes in and engulfs Stephen A's salary and renting. They don't own McAfee. McAfee plays there and gives what he wants to them because he passed Stephen A. Let's not say in voice or face of a franchise, but did in money. And now Stephen A. is coming up for a contract. And he just buried Skip Bayless. Ended his career because I told you at the beginning of this, Stugotz. Watch how the old guys in media who have always been the kings age, whether it's Jim Rome or Colin Cowherd, getting into business with Shannon Sharpe as we get into business with all the smoke and now try to make big deals in the realm where J.J. Redick resides, where he's saying to himself, okay, I've built this really cool thing over here. It's a plaything. It's a hobby. Do I want to coach with LeBron? Charlotte job, not enough. I'm going to go to the head of the line. What do I want to do with my life as someone who regrets not being around for my child on Christmas days? Do I want to compete against the media where it's an easy win because it's not as tough? They all just realized it, Stugotz. All of them. Wait, all I got to do is beat LeBatard and Stephen A.? All I got to do is beat Cowherd? Wait, the punter? McAfee can do that? How did he do that? I'm more famous than him. I'm
I
so
was a
much.
tight end.
I've got so Kelsey builds that, and now Amazon's bidding for that, and Jason Kelsey and his brother goes right to the front of the line. RG3, get out of here.
Yep.
You may have a media career, but it's not going to be on the biggest thing. No, Jason Kelsey gets that. A center goes right to the front of the line. That happened in the last 3 years. That happened even though Travis Kelsey was in Stugotz's ear in Tahoe. Hey, how do I do this? That all happened. How do I do this? How do I get to where you guys are? That's the conversation in Tahoe. And how does he do it? In 10 minutes.
Yep.
As soon as he gets into the game, he does it. Now, J.J. Redick, and I'm sorry if you're tired of hearing it, but it's been my life for 3 years, and it's been the second worst thing in my life in those 3 years because all of these athletes are coming for gambling money that is keeping the entire industry alive as ESPN and Disney shake so much that they got to rent to McAfee, and here comes Kelsey and Shannon Sharpe. How do I use your platform to build what Stephen A. Smith did as Stephen A. Smith? Every day on their air from 10 to noon is selling, I'm in a contract year, I'm the biggest voice you got, and I'm about to be a free agent to do whatever I want. Look at what I built here. I built this entire thing that has been number one for 12 years. I did it over Bayless. Bayless went over there and competed, did it the same way, lost. Has Paul Pierce using the N-word on Undisputed by accident because that entire thing is caved in as Shannon Sharpe and J.J. Redick are sitting next to Stephen A. Smith, and he ages like that. I've told you I admire that man. Now, I don't love some of the things that he does to broaden audience because I don't think audience is always the most important thing. But as a conqueror, as a dude who knows how to win at this industry, there has never been anyone better because look at the teammates he has now, Stugotz. He's gone and grabbed the best you can grab at what it is that they do, which is make good television, and he's got total power in a contract year about to leave ESPN as all the athletes around it. You're paying Joe Buck what? You're paying Troy Aikman what? How are they worth more than I am? How am I getting? And he's got a production deal, so it's the big salary plus how do I build this with ESPN? Because you don't think that Omaha Productions and Tom Brady and Stephen A., you don't think he wants to compete with them there for the big money? How do I partner? Omaha's got a 10-year deal, Stugotz.
It's crazy.
It's all built around Eli and Peyton are willing to join you from their basements.
Yep. They are programming ESPN right now. Them and Pat
Correct.
McAfee.
It used to be Nick Khan of CAA who was programming ESPN. He is now doing the wrestling stuff. He's now in live television, bringing wrestling to Netflix. So this game has been my life for the hardest 3 years of my life, and I'm fascinated by what it is that's happening.
Of course, yeah.
J.J. Redick has been great on First Take. Great because he's smart. He knows the numbers. And now, do I want to do a podcast with LeBron James and build that empire? Because, man, it's great dominating, making interesting content about the sport I love. Or do I want to coach LeBron James? That's the choice that one of the people on First Take who has used First Take very well has, because the whole thing at ESPN is changing where everyone can lily pad, jump, You get there, they build your thing, you use them, you go to the next thing. McAfee can do that if he wants. You don't want Aaron Rodgers on next year? Okay. I'll do this somewhere else. You've helped me build it.
Or I'll get Belichick.
Right.
Or Saban.
Or right. Correct. And I will dominate whatever the future of ESPN becomes. But the thing I wanted to get to as it relates to J.J. Redick and Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers, before J.J. Redick, played the media game better than anybody. Charisma, charm, doesn't matter how much I lose. I am great at just making you like me. And so I throw ESPN's entire broadcast plan for the NBA into total upheaval. They kick out Jeff Van Gundy. They make a spot for me because I've been let go, and I immediately jump, well, I can coach Giannis. Okay, I've got a better job over here in actual sports, not sports media, which the athletes know they can conquer. It's easy. Doc Rivers has conquered media. That's easy. What he can't conquer is above him. He's won one title with a team for all time that birthed all the super teams, and J.J. Redick says things like this about him, and you will hear afterward Doc Rivers' recent rebuttal with Stephen A. Smith. So play all of that sound, please.
I've seen the trend for years.
What's the trend?
The trend is always making excuses. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. It's hard. We get it. Just like getting traded in the middle of the season is hard for a player. We get it. But it's always an excuse. It's always throwing your team under the bus. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his players' fault. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. And then you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that. There's never accountability with that guy.
That was a couple of months ago, and everyone seized on it. A lot of people were hearing it for the first time, even though a lot of people know of Doc Rivers. He is extraordinary at the media game.
Yes, he is.
Just really great at how it is it that I get you to like me. Well, this is how. He rebuts J.J. Redick when he's on Stephen A. Smith's show this way. And what I want you to listen to is how candy sweet he is all around it while really insulting J.J. Redick.
J.J. Redick was on the record getting on you pretty adamantly about some of the things that you were saying once you ultimately ended up in Milwaukee and talked about passing a buck or whatever. Did you two ever talk about that? Did you ever resolve that with one another?
No. JJ's had a problem with me for a while, and that's fine. Players do. One thing, when you coach, Stephen A., you can be called a player's coach or whatever you want to be called. But if you make decisions that the player doesn't agree with, in JJ's case, we didn't sign him back. With the Clippers, I stopped playing him as much because he wasn't very effective in the playoffs. And, that's all known. But I'm fine with that. Like, usually they all come back to you. They do. Because they know everything you tried to teach them or do for them was in good. J.J. Redick's best numbers of his career was under one coach, and you're looking at him. Right here. I'm the one that grabbed him out of Milwaukee and decided to start him. From that point on, his career took off. All the movement plays, everything. First play of the game, every game. When we played with the Clippers, you would have coaches and teams come up to you and say, you're not going to score on that first play with JJ. And I would always say, just watch us. We're going to figure it out. So overall, nothing but love for JJ. Obviously, there's things he doesn't like, and I have no issues with him.
Nothing but love at the end.
That is a gift, man.
It's a gift if what you like is sandwiches. Because he said nothing but love, no issues, except for, I'm the reason for all of his success. And he wasn't effective in the playoffs, so I benched him, and he wasn't very good.
The coach for his best season, you're looking at
That's
him.
right. I'm the reason for his success. It is the version of Brady versus Belichick. I'm the reason you won. No, I'm the reason.
And nobody is really,
no one really won
but them.
Well, but they care, though. The greatest, the Doc at the end, like that is, God almighty, Doc, so insincere.
But lovable.
No,
like you can tell
fraudulent. And if you don't like accountability and you like fraudulent, lovable.
My guy.
It's easy to trick the media is my point. It's where I started, Stugotz.
I know.
The media's
We're idiots.
We won the media game. We look at what did that DraftKings segment. We won the media game. Do you know how easy it is to win the media game? It's filled with idiots.
I texted my friend Hannah and said, hey, do you want to make picks for us? And she said she's going to create her own algorithm to get picks for us. So, DraftKings, you are welcome. Yeah. She goes to Berkeley. Smart gal.
Eric Decker?
Please get Feldman to sponsor.
Ian.
No.
Oh.
No. Your astrophysicist friend and her gambling knowledge, so I can get rid of all these clowns who are polluting our contract here at DraftKings, because we might not keep winning.
They were not clowns, they were mascots.
We might not keep winning the media game this year in a contract year.
We have a 20-year winning streak, though. I mean,
we're in danger.
We're going to take an L?
DraftKings this year could get any of the people who are competing against us.
Oh.
Like Hannah.
They don't have
my
Joey.
friend.
Ricky Prohl?
You did him already.
Oh, I did.
Stugotz just apologized to me, Chris. You'll find this funny. Stugotz just sincere. It might be the first sincere apology or the first sincere thing Stugotz has said to me in 20 years.
It felt different.
He legitimately apologized because he knew in the last segment, as I did, that I was talking too much. And I knew when I was in it, too, that I knew I was talking too much. But the way he apologized to me, and God, he's been wheezing to the finish line on the end of these shows with breath today that knocked out a mascot because Bernie smelled the cigarettes on Stugotz and was truly disgusted.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but off air, Bernie was coughing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the real Bernie, the person it's, I heard coughing.
Look, over the last 3 years, Stugotz has done a great deal of damage to himself. And he smells like cigarettes in a way that I laughed in a way I shouldn't have when I walked in today because he was smoking a heater at 8:15 in the parking lot, and it just didn't feel like the height of show business. It's not even a parking garage. It's a parking garage. Like Stugotz is at the top of the game. He's writing a book. He's conquered media. He turned down a big New York job. Like we won at the media. Like we got a lot of money to leave ESPN and fight in this game, and I find it hugely interesting.
Right. Amazingly, it gets worse than you pulling it at 8:15 and me having a heater. It just happened.
I know. You smelled like cigarettes. You made the Hall of Fame mascot cough just by being in your presence. But he legitimately apologized to me because I know I sound obnoxious at the end of the show. I'm talking too much about something only I care about. You don't care enough about these people. You wouldn't be listening to us if you cared about these other podcasts.
I had Rambling Man loaded up during that segment. Almost went to it.
I know. But you don't understand. This is what happened, Chris, and I'm dead serious. I've been holding all of it down for too long. I've been hiding it from you. I want to talk about it, and the audience won't let me. And when the fuck have I given a care about what the audience wants from me? Like, that's not where the interesting show resides. This shit has been interesting because it's consumed my life for the last 3 years. And yes, thank you for laughing at me, Juju. I want to get to all of this because Stugotz legitimately just said to me, as my teammate who's now coughing through phlegm because he's so unhealthy and has so little left in the tank.
Oh, so little.
He just said to me, like mumbled it under his breath, sorry I didn't support you more in the last segment. I was trying to get bacon out of my mouth.
I was joking on bacon. The bacon out there is so good, man. It's got some honey on it. It's sweet. Bacon alone is good, but honey bacon, forget it, man. Anyway, I apologize.
Well, Juju misses this show. I know he does because Juju loves this show from a place that very few people do.
But you know, over 20 years, like you were going down a path that I love. I love having those discussions with you.
I was looking all around the room saying, where are my teammates? Where's my help? I need another sound from somewhere. Nope, they've gotten out of the way, and I'm going to get accused of being Rambling Man. I'll go to my trusted teammate of 20 years. He knows how to produce this show. Oh, no, there's bacon stuck in his throat. He can't fish it out. He's been digging around in his mouth for 3 days on air in a way that must disgust Juju. Juju, he has done it 3 times this week when you'll never forgive Jeremy for doing it 1 time. Juju, I don't mean to betray any company secrets here. You have not shared this with me, but just based on what it is you've said on the air, I think you respect Jeremy less than you used to just because he put a finger in his mouth.
I definitely go in with a fist bump these days because of my brother on most handshakes, because that haunts me before I go to sleep most nights these days.
You are positive and also elusive. You do not say bad things about people. I've asked you a direct question. Do you respect Jeremy less than you used to because he was caught on camera with half of a sausage finger deep in his throat?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. I just want truth. Juju,
3 knuckles deep.
Juju, if we're going to establish, I am going to preface everything with the audience with Juju tries to be positive. He does not want to take people out. But Juju is the most honest man we have in the company.
Close second, me.
Juju will tell me what the truth is while wrapping it in positivity. I have missed today's show, Juju. You heard today's show somewhere. What are the complaints from the audience? Did I talk too much about the sports media?
Nah, you didn't talk too much about it, man. This is your show, your name in the lights, bro. We here for it. But I think you have to remember that most of the people listening to this, me included, we broke bit, bruh. So you talk about Pat McAfee and JJ Redick, head coaching jobs, media landscape. Brother, we had to go to work today. We got to wake up and stuff to do. So that's a luxury that them brothers have, salute. But we don't give a damn. Like, if they go off the air, somebody going to talk about sports. We just want that shit playing in the background while we do our lives.
That's interesting, Juju, but this is where I would disconnect with the audience, because I believe that the audience rides with us, understands that Meadowlark has 45 employees because they're in this business with us. They're why we're worth so much. So the reason I promised people at the start of the pandemic I would sort of show them the innards of how the business of some of this works, and we've all seen it play out in public. It funds the entire thing, Juju, so I assume if they care about us, they care about this, because this is consuming me. They love us, but this is consuming me while I'm at my brother's bedside trying to keep 45 employees in this game. I'm assuming that our audience cares about the innards of that, even if they don't understand the money. But that money pays for everyone at Meadowlark.
Yeah, they care about it from the standpoint of you, because if they cared about those people's business, they'll probably listen to them all day and tune in to them and not even give us a chance. So I think they're interested in that stuff, but when you are involved, like, we care a lot more than, let's just say, just the examples you gave today, JJ Redick and Pat McAfee and those people. Like, I don't give a damn. I don't even watch their shows. That's why I be thinking I be saying stuff for the first time in the history. This the only sports show I actually watch outside of one or two more. And, like, I can listen to podcasts later on. But I don't be watching none of that, bruh. I watched Pat McAfee for the first time, like, when I was down there and we had Aaron Rodgers on. Don't nobody watch that. Your loyal fans, we love you. We want to hear what you got to say, big bro. And so we care about your business, but not necessarily the other folks. You feel me? Respectfully. Salute to everybody, all the other folks, though.
No, but Juju, this is what I want this to become. You know this is the truth, okay? I believe that Juju has been an underutilized weapon around here for reasons that I can't totally understand, because I want to be doing cool stuff with him, at least in part, because in my 20 years doing this with the show, no one has been more honest with me than Juju. Juju will scream at me. Juju does not care. He just doesn't care about whether or not something's going to land wrong because it's the truth in private, but would never do that in public.
Right.
Gives nothing in public but positivity.
That's a friend right there,
and
man.
love. Well, but it's not just a friend. It's a good employee. I mean, I think people know some of the story of our relationship with Juju, but I want this to be our most honest segment. I want you to come in here and tell me, without regard for my feelings or anyone else's, hey, this is what you did poorly. This is what you did well. This is what the fans think, because I've had to get out of what was the constructive criticism of Reddit because of whatever the internet's become. But I miss the way the most clever listeners of this show used to produce it, by trying to be competitive cleverly. And so I'd like to evolve this show into whatever the next steps look that way, and I wanted to begin with you telling us what we got wrong most honestly at the end of these shows. So, what did we screw up today?
Well, I'm going to start on a positive note, and thank you for saying those positive words, brother. I always want to tell you in front of the world, I love you, and I appreciate you changing my life, because I was on the road to nowhere fast, and you helped me pick myself up, so I will always show you my respect, bro. But
you
from
got
two... You got to know it. 2 bars, 4 stars on YouTube. They say, hey, great archive interview today. They're really enjoying them, and they really enjoy the art. I don't think you guys experience it, but us watching the show during your breaks, sometimes Mike takes us down the archive and go to old interviews, and those have been a blast, bro. Like it's way refreshing to hear those than just watch a blank screen. So we got some positive stuff coming in today. He loves those, and I love them too.
They're cool. It does look cool. If you're not watching on YouTube, I should explain to the audience because there are some things that have been concealed. Obviously, the move to video has been complicated and difficult, and a lot of people in the modern age are trying to figure out the video stuff because that part slipped by when we were at ESPN, Stugotz. It happened very fast. We could have built all of this on YouTube, and we did not because we weren't thinking that way then. So
we built the podcast, not the YouTube numbers.
That's correct. Well,
yes.
the video, right. That's
right.
But it feeds everything here. And, yes, the television product is getting better because of things like that. It took a minute, but we've learned in front of you, and hopefully you have learned to love some of the video characters as they've stumbled around chasing the show.
Also, for the first time, now this has never happened before, and it's still happening right now. We still got 20 hours left on this, but is Inside Man one of your favorite Denzel movies? It's 50-50 right now, and you know that doesn't happen at all.
That's never happened before.
Happened before.
It's never happened before.
Absolutely. Okay, and World B403 says, hold up. You mean to tell me that Dan's the most popular athlete in the world played last night, and he didn't mention her once? You're slipping, Dano. And I got to say to World B403, you got to tune in to the Big Suey because me and Lucy got that covered for you. So he was just saving it for us. So salute to my big brother.
Thank you. I am not a sexist who refused to talk about Caitlin Clark. I asked Juju and Lucy to do so more informed than I am because they've been watching the sport for the last 4 years, and I have not.
Dan, I think you'll be happy to know I'm going this weekend, as a matter of fact, on a wellness retreat. I'm trying to become a better me. I am going to Las Vegas for 2 Dead & Company shows, so I just wanted you to know that a healthier me is on the way.
Those words mean nothing.
Vegas, Dead & Company. I mean, they mean everything to me. I mean,
Juju.
Also a great fan of the show. He wrote in Michael Askew, a.k.a. Skew. He turned 44 yesterday, and we want to wish him a very happy birthday, brother. Thank you for all your support. Sorry, I didn't get to it yesterday.
To him. I don't care.
Dan
Good
cares
luck.
so much about women's sports that he outsourced the work to a woman.
That's correct.
Jeremy, we trying to work on
sticking.
likability.
Yes, Juju. How's that going for us, Juju? How's that going for us? Juju, how much does it hurt you? I hurt for you last night because your expertise was on display. Your 2 rebounding numbers came in very quickly on those bets. You had those easy, and Vandersloot betrayed you. She betrayed you. You pour a lot of your heart into those bets, and that was a good bet, Juju. You had the 3-team parlay.
Right, bro. Salute doggy dog, man. Courtney Vandersloot. Like I said, I don't blame her. It was just Sabrina had an off shooting night. She kept swinging at Sabrina. Sabrina shooting from the logo, but them things was clanking off the backboard hard as hell, bro. She looked like old boy from that movie with Ben Stiller, Rain Dance.
Oh, that's so
it
good.
was more
so good. Make it raindrop. Yes, raindrop.
Sabrina was making it rain last night, boy. And so she fell through, man. And it hurt me so bad. Now, you already know. I had a tough hour after that. Like, I ain't want to eat food.
Juju.
So
I need to explain this part to the audience just to let them go. Juju cares deeply about this. He does not want the audience to lose its money. And that bet hurt. It hurt because Juju cares. And it's supposed to. That's the way that whole thing works. It's why people love doing it so much, because you feel more alive caring about games more than you already did.
Right. This is how I watch the games video. I know you can't see it, but I have 4 TVs here at the house, and I was locked in. And after she didn't get her points, it just broke my heart.
See, but it's brutal. It's Chris. It's a heartbreaker. You hate it when you.
I had it. I followed it.
You got 2 legs of the parlay. The third one's there. You know you bet it correctly, but you know you're informed enough. I just need her great teammate to make shots. That's all I need.
But once you have 2 legs, you have to hedge the third. That's the rule.
Well, but you can't do that.
If they're all going on at the same time.
But
the timing, the timing was a little off. she fell before the other people even had a chance to. So
It hurt.
my whole night was just ruined. If you couple that next to Anthony Edwards crapping the bed now, I predicted a lot of things, man.
Oh, wait a minute. So some last thing, because some people said
Yeah.
that we made fun of Simmons and Cowherd for getting it wrong on the Timberwolves, but not Juju. But Juju got it right. I got it wrong. I apologized at the beginning of this series to Juju for his analysis because the Defensive Player of the Year did indeed bother him, it seemed like, for one game. But then he did not any longer, and it is fair to wonder. It's Juju. It's totally good analysis by you. The idea that those bodies might bother him, and they did in Game 1, and then never again.
Right. But to my point, to my case, if Aaron Gordon is gonna play like Aaron Jeffrey Gordon, like they're gonna win the championship, brother. Like 27 points last game. Last night he looked like the second coming. Like that's what I'm saying. They look the part now. With the Lakers, they just look so lackluster. And I say if they bring that energy to the Timberwolves, they're gonna get the head knocked off of that monster. But like the entire team is stepping up. Even Caldwell Pope got you 12 points last night. It's like you can't do nothing with that, man. Rudy Gobert or not, especially the Joker with the look in his eyes. The Joker had like 2 dunks last night. What is that?
There's never been anyone like him.
Air Gordon.
See you later. See you later, Juju.
Yes, sir.